CryptoKitty.
Yeah, but then there was one more. I want to say Matt.
Matt,
Yeah,
yeah, Matt.
Matt is my you see, because I do a bit of Discord work here and there, like as in like community manager modding and shit, right? Matt's my Discord guy that I take from server to server. He was actually I picked him up in one of the servers that I was working on, and then we just really tight. He's a cool guy. So
That's what's
anything
up.
to do with Discord, I just call him up. I'm like, hey Matt, and then he's got in.
So you're like a duo. No matter where you go, he follows.
Yeah, yeah. I've actually got a couple of people, but Matt is the constant. Like Matt is just there, you know. And Matt and I operate on the same time zone as well, so that
Okay.
makes things really easy.
Yeah. So let's just do a quick introduction of you guys since we're live. I'm Atlanick, and this is the most of the team. Well, half of the team from Voyage, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
half
two
of
out
the
of
team.
three.
Yep.
Prerak is not there today with us. Yeah, he's moving to hostel today, so he won't be able to make it today. So yeah.
Okay.
The boys are moving in together to get work done quick, and that's just like dedication.
That's what's up. That's awesome.
Right. So
Yep.
so
And
shall I start about introducing myself first?
yeah, we'll get a quick
So,
introduction to you guys.
So, hi everyone, my name is Vikram. I'm a final year computer science student with specialization in applied mathematics, and I've built many mini games, including a sensor-based game under the guidance of my professor, and I've got experience in working with teams on certain programming projects, and I've been programming since past 5 years. So yeah, and I'm very passionate about this blockchain and NFT culture too. So that's why I jumped into this space, and I thought of developing something really constructive and great for the community.
And you're still in school, correct?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm in final year right now of my engineering, computer science engineering.
Congratulations, man. I know you're excited. You're near the end.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'll be graduating by end of this year.
That's awesome, dude. And
These guys had their assets generating for Voyage while they were in the exam hall. They were sitting and
Yeah,
they were
we
doing
were
their
doing
exam.
all of that in our computer lab. Like we were sitting there most of the night and doing all the asset generation stuff there. Like we built our website in I guess 5 days, and we were sitting in computer lab every night. Yeah. So
that's awesome, man. I think I read up somewhere you work with your professor from time to time on the project as
yeah,
well.
yeah, absolutely. He's like our mentor. You know, he's PhD from Georgia Tech, and he has
Okay.
an extensive experience in game development and virtual reality development. So he's like our strength. We already told him about the idea, and he's very much impressed with it. So we'll be bringing him on the board later when we move to the development phase to get some clear guidance and mentorship. So that's the whole point. And we are already surrounded with many skilled tech people because we are in college, right? So there are our friends who sort of specialize in different fields. Like I know some guy who are experienced in algorithms, some are experienced in database management. So we got all the guys already figured out who's going to help us in which path. And I've been working them since past 4 years, so I know how to bring the best out of them. So it's not a problem for us to hire new developers and tech team.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, man. And for everybody watching, this man woke up at 6 a.m. to get on this interview. That is dedication right there. I'm not waking up at 6 a.m. for nothing.
It's 9 for me, and I was thinking like, damn, couldn't we push it by an hour?
Yeah. So, Stash, why don't you do a little intro on
Yeah,
who you are?
yeah. So the other two co-founders, well, Vikram and Prerak, they're IT boys. I'm not. I'm a finance guy, so I work as a corporate banker. Um, what I do for a living is basically I assess. Well, currently I'm in the mid corporation division, so I assess companies with like annual revenue of 100 to 500 million, and they come to the bank for a loan. Let's say they've got a loan they want to take our facility, right? So they come up with a business plan, and it's interesting because you'll see a lot of parallels here. They come up with a business plan, and they present it to us. And then I take a look at it, I analyze the numbers, the financials, blah blah blah, and then I figure out whether or not it's feasible based on this business plan for them to ask for a loan of X amount from the bank. If it's not feasible, then I have to revise this with the client. So I'm basically, I put up the proposal from business plan to something that's acceptable that will get funding, right? So if you look at the parallels as to what of how that's applicable on the scene at the moment, it's the roadmap. So if I look at a roadmap for a project, if there is a roadmap in the first place. Of course, I'm not going to look at an art project and if you'll notice, we've got like three pendulums up there. I'm not going to look at pendulum and say like, hey, where's your roadmap? Because they've clearly said we're an art project, right? But with projects that require a roadmap, it's the same business process that I go through. It's feasibility testing, right? You look at the team, do they have the skills to execute? Then you look at the funding element. And so with regards to that, that's the kind of expertise that I'm bringing into Voyage. Because when Voyage first started, when Vikram and Prerak, I think Voyage, they were just starting out, but Vikram reached out to me via DMs actually, and he was like, "Hey, seen you around in the space for a bit. We need some advice with X, Y, Z. What do you think?" So we started talking, right? And after a while, you see, it's crazy because at the point that I actually had this conversation with Vikram, I was at a stage myself whereby, like, because I was aware that I could suss out a business plan that works. I thought, and I'm also a gamer myself, so I noticed that there was a lack of a certain type of quality game in the Cardano space. So I thought I want to come up with one myself. I had the business plan and blah blah blah. I didn't have tech boys, right? And my plan at that point was, oh, I've got to go find tech boys. And as fate would have it, ironically, it was two tech boys that found me, and so I just joined them instead of the other way around, right?
Yeah.
So so I personally, of course this is a bias, but I think the blend of skills that we've got in this team at the moment is something that should have been tried a long time ago but hasn't been, right? So you've got people who understand the space, they understand the asset that they're building, right? For my particular project, I mean, for this project, it is a tech team. They are the core, they are the backbone of what we're trying to build. It's not about the art, it's not about how fancy the planets look like at this stage. If at this stage we can't, what Vikram just said just now, we have identified moving forward where the teams come from. Because Vikram is a student, um, I mean, you know how students work, right? They got a job, they want to do it fast, they want to get paid, and we move on, the kind of thing. So Vikram and Prerak are, they're basically the heads of this little tech coding army they've got in the university. As and when there's work to be done, they know exactly who to go to. So that was one of the things where when I was brought on, with regards to the business head, like as in having a head for business, this is some of the things that we needed to see. And now that it's in order, things actually can run a lot more smoothly. I think I've digressed. My
No, you're
background is
good.
I'm a business guy, and yeah, I help with the business decisions here.
That's awesome, dude. So I'm not sure if I want to start off with the questions just yet. So let's get into a bit of your personal life, guys. Vikram, what do you do on the weekends? How do you relax after you bust your butt all week in school? You're busting your butt on this project. Like, dude, how do you like keep your head from exploding?
Yeah, yeah, that's a nice question because, yeah, I just hang out on Discord with the community and the people around Cardano and FT community because they sort of, yeah, we discuss about our lives in the Discord, right? So that sort of give me something new to hear about, and I usually listen to hip hop and music on YouTube to just like relax sometimes. And I watch sports too, so that's also a pastime for me. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Do you get
That's the
outside,
only
see
thing
your
I do
family, see your
right.
friends? You do any of that?
Now I don't got time to see any friends. I don't know. I don't even remember the last time I went out with someone. So yeah, my
I
schedule
don't
is
remember
pretty
the last
busy
time I
right now.
went out,
So
he said.
yeah, it's very busy right now. And that's all. I mean,
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. I don't like to admit it, but yeah, that's we're all in here just grinding every day.
We're all
yeah.
inside people.
What about you,
It's
Stash? Do you get outside? Do you go hiking? Any sort of like exercise
um
to keep yourself like
well,
mentally good?
that's the thing. So before, I mean, I've got my activities. I used to go to the gym and I hang out with a bunch of my friends and all that. But at the moment, to be frank, like ever since Voyage started, for the most part, like I work a full time job, right? Like I'm still a corporate banker. And then when I'm done with that, I come back and then I'm on Discord. And the thing is, like Vikram said, and a lot of people don't understand this, right? It's one thing to be a moderator at a server, right? You come in, you make sure people are fine, blah blah, done. It's another thing when you have a project such as ours, whereby I can say read the white paper, I can say read announcements, but first of all, our white paper is what, 40 pages, Vikram? About 30
Yeah,
something? Yeah.
yeah. It's pretty
That's
big.
a
Yeah,
short novel. Who's
yes.
got time for that shit? Someone comes in and they're like, "Hey, what's this project about?" I'm like, "Here,
Yeah,
40 pages. Go do your reading." Right?
yeah.
That's
No, no
it.
one,
Doesn't
no one even reads the white paper fully. Like we have to explain everything explicitly to everyone. Yeah, this
Yeah,
is
Yeah.
and the thing is, I can't really blame them because
because
we have so much to say. This is not something simplistic. It's not here's a PFP, burn it in 2 weeks, get a mutation. It's not something like that, right? This
Right.
is something that we have to explain every step of the way. And what people don't understand is that it's been crafted. What comes first, what comes second? It's all been crafted to ensure two things. One, that the game makes sense. Two, that the funding makes sense, right? So sorry, back to what I do for a living. What back to what I do for fun. Well, I hang out with my friends. I try to spend as much time with my girlfriend as I can as well. And frankly speaking, I spend about like, damn, it must be like 17 hours a day with my Discord on or something. And what I was saying with this is that, right? So now that we've got our own project and we are in the Discord all the time, like constantly, right? Across time zones. When I go to sleep, we've got Mitchell. Mitchell's up there. We've got our other mod, Kitty, as well. And they're in there talking to people. But because of that, I just, to answer your question, I haven't had very much time at all. I sit here and I talk to people, and even on work days, because like Vikram said, we hang out in the Discord, right? And we do voice chats every night. That's
yeah,
one of the things that we want to do as well. Like, not only are the voice chats for us to talk to, I mean, I talk to my team. I talk to my team every day, right? We get them, and this is actually very much attributable to Mitchell, because Universe 25, right?
Yeah.
Mitchell's one of the loudest guys in there, and that's how I got to know him in the first place. And he was doing all these voice chats over at Universe 25. So now that we've come across here, we do our voice chats. We just hang out. Usually it's me, Mitchell, the other mod, some of our friends. They hang out, but there are times where the community members join us, right? And at the moment, it's a lot of just banter. We're just talking about stuff. But my aim is that if at all, and I've said this in the server many times, if at all anyone has any questions for us, something you'd like us to answer, we're in there. Like, I'm in there all the time. And because Mitch talks so much, I'm sometimes in there at like 3 a.m. and I've got work the next day. I can't help it. That's why I've got these panda eyes. It's not that I'm sitting here and like coding assets. I'm not. I'm just talking to people. And that's because they want to talk.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was gonna ask you if people could jump in there, like part of your
Yeah.
community, and be a part of it.
yeah.
So that's really
They
cool.
can. Yeah, they
We've
can.
got
And
controls at the moment. So at the moment, we weren't sure whether people were just going to come in and like just like whatever, right? So we've got multiple roles in our server, if you'd see, and so some of the roles past a certain level have got the automatic permission. They can come in, they can speak straight away, no worries. For the new joiners, like the gray names, basically, it's they can still speak, but it's a request to speak kind of thing, which I think is fair because honestly, if you've said anything in my server, if you've spoken to us at all, I will know who you are
Yeah.
because it's me and Vikram sitting there talking to you. This isn't a bot. It's not. We don't have like our mod team answering questions. This is us on the ground.
Yeah. So anybody who's maybe sitting in the chat that doesn't know, we will be giving away, you guys said 5 whitelist spots to the viewers at the end of this podcast / interview. So just letting everybody know, we'll have you post your Discord, and then I'll put your name in a random name generator and pick you guys live.
Yeah. Can I
So
just point out that as we'd announced earlier, we were actually gonna lock the Discord. We're gonna close it at 2,100 members before the first mint. So the first mint is on the 18th. We are currently at 2022. So that's 78 spots left. Yeah, after that we'll shut it off. Anyway, with regards to the whitelist as well, I think we've got about 80 spots left. So it's about commensurate, and yeah, uh, because of our supply and the way we've got our whitelist working and all that, this is not something that I need to have 5,000 members in my Discord for. You know what I mean? In fact,
Right.
it's probably fun fighting to not have 5,000, because the amount of assets that would end up going to public mint uh, is a lot less than that. You know, our total assets as itself, we've got 1,650 reserved for team, 1,550. Just the simple math, right? Going into the whitelist, we've got three X transactions on the whitelist, 320 members. Of course, it's a big thing to just assume that everyone mints everything in full, but that max number would be 940, right? So that means 610 on a scenario where the whitelist gets sold out maximum. 610 pieces go to public mint. Um, the 900 something would have been minted by 300 people. So we've already got triple the amount of public mint in the server at the moment.
Okay.
I'm trying to control that, because I mean, you've been in the community for a while. You know what happens when people queue up and send a transaction, and they get sold out, right?
Yeah.
Like, so we've been making noise about it for a long time, about Voyage. We've been talking about the planets. We've been talking about the mint coming up. I think there'd been plenty of time to come in and take a look, you know. So now is basically the stage where we're just aligning and collating everything together.
Got you. Well, Powdery Hot Fuzz says, "Tell Stash I
Oh
love
yeah,
him and Vikram too."
good old Fuzz. Fuzz
We
is
love you
classic.
too, Paul.
He
Yeah.
hosts a Twitter space called Chillin' with the Homies, and
Okay.
yeah, it's pretty cool. He's got his own server as well, where they discuss cool new projects happening either in Cardano or on the Ethereum space, and you'll see a lot of sort of these incubator type projects popping up recently. But Fuzz, his one has been around for shit, man, must be like 5 months or something. I remember being in there and talking to those boys about ideas like in October when there were 4 people in that server, you know? So yeah, the boys do really good spaces. It's great though, because not everyone has got the exposure to get on a YouTube channel or to get on like a random podcast or something, you know, to get on something well known, right? But it's the kind of small podcasts like this that really take it through. Because I've heard some gems via his podcast, and one of the other ones hosted by D Clay. They've got the Spanish one. You know, that's where you get actually the guys who feel like they're not seen, and it's
Yeah.
great. Great.
Yeah.
Everyone needs a chance to be seen.
Twitter
How else do
Spaces
you grow the
are
space?
very important.
Otherwise, it's just my marketing versus your marketing, and that's bullshit. Because the differentiation in quality and even product itself should speak miles beyond anything else. It shouldn't be about which, like, you know, where have you gone and shilled your product. I mean, it is in a sense, but it shouldn't be. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, no, I love it so much because, and I use a lot of analogies with stocks because that's just where I came from. But with
Yeah.
stocks, you know, you see the pump first, and then you get the news because it's all bullshit. You know,
Like
like
the news.
they all knew that the stock was like this news was going to come out, or they waited for the news to come out after they bought, like all the rich people. And then you see the news, and then everybody FOMOs in after the rich people already got their bags, and now all you're doing is helping out the rich. But like with this, I saw OG Bears made an announcement, and literally the same day they made their announcement, their price went from like 68 up to like 88 the very next day. And it's like you can literally see these things while they happen as long as you're paying attention and you're doing your own research. Whereas in stocks and stuff, it feels discouraging.
So behind the scenes.
Yeah, because you feel like you're trying your hardest. You're looking at the charts. You're waiting for news, and it just doesn't matter because the news is either late or like it's just manipulated. So
No, it is manipulated. Like, as someone who actually, oh man, I shouldn't be saying this nonsense. As someone who actually like deals with companies, you know, banks and stuff. Like, I mean, obviously, I track the stock market, right? I track the stock market. I track the U.S. one. I track the local one where I'm at, and you can see it. Like, it's not even that hidden information. If you go into your local burst, right, your local stock exchange, the website, you can go and check out the activity of the counter that's going on. And if all you have to do is just know the directors' names, you can just control F and just check what they're doing in there, man. Like it'll tell you, because there'll be so many counters that are actually donkey dumping, and you notice that directors are like buying it on the cheap. So that's the one that you should end up accumulating. Of course, it's a lot less transparent in the NFT space, but it's sort of the same concept as your pump. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah.
people get in while things are slipping, or maybe they got in right at the start. Maybe they minted like multiple. Sure, you never know. But that is the name of the game. It's um but the thing is, you can always tell. You can tell when someone's pumping their bags, and you can tell when someone is actually trying to get you onto a product that is pretty amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So actually, Oside just came in here. What's up, Oside? He said, "Will the galaxies cap at 4? I may have missed this in the white paper. I don't know exactly what he means by will they cap at
Okay,
4."
so I know what he's asking about. We've said that we've got four types of galaxies from which the planets come from, right? So because of the game plan that we have in mind, actually the galaxies and the planets, they're basically fixed. We've got four galaxies. We've got on average 400 planets from each galaxy, right? The
For an
voluminous drop here, the voluminous drop here is neither the planets. Galaxies aren't even dropping. It's just a category, right? So the voluminous drop is actually the continents and not the planets. So for that reason, our planets are very much set in stone for the most part. It is like we'll have to see the exact number, but it's 1,600 planets across four galaxies. There's no distinct out front. We don't go out and say, hey, Galaxy A is bigger or better than Galaxy C. It's not like that. They're meant to be complementary, right? Because this is a game ecosystem. And having a definite number, a definite parameter for our resource generators is what helps us to move to the next phase. So for that reason, planets, we've capped it. The galaxies, yeah, we've got four types of galaxies. You see, just to extrapolate on your question, the galaxies are capped at four, because for us to add another one somewhere down the line, we would have to introduce a fifth element, a fifth resource, right? That is hugely meta changing. Even before we've come up with the game, it's not at all something we would look at, because we would shoot ourselves in the foot. It doesn't make any sense. Right now, we've got the parameters built around our resources, which tie into the galaxies. So for that reason, yeah, what we've got at the moment is what we've got.
I appreciate that.
Also, like, no shame if you missed the white paper, man. It's a big dump. You should just watch videos. Like, you actually should.
Yeah. So, I'm definitely going to dive into some more questions like that. And if you guys in the chat have any questions like that, I will pull them up in a heartbeat. But I also want to start off with just like a brief overview of, let's say somebody is seeing this and they're just like, I've never even heard of Voyage. I'm just here watching. Like, how would you introduce them?
Okay, so to take a sip of water for this. Um, all right. So as an overview, Voyage is a play to earn metaverse gaming project. And I remember there's a time, maybe about 2 months ago, where saying those words would have made me choke on my own vomit. But the thing is, as I explained with the team, all you have to do, let me just get this disclaimer out there. Yes, metaverse gaming project and all that. I know it's a big promise off the bat. And while I know that this has been used for buzzwords, take a look at our team. We've got, well, I'm literally the least important part here. I'm the business end, right? Look at our
No, you
tech
are
end.
not, man.
No, look at our tech end. Just look at our tech end. We've got these two guys, and they're like the army of their classmates that actually help out with this stuff. Dude, like when it comes to a project like this, the reason we scoff at metaverse gaming projects is because the budget is massive. The budget is massive. A 21-year-old comes out and says, hey, this is what we're going to do. Come support our project. We'll put the white paper website out after mint. Just buy my shit first, right? That's generally how people go to market, and that's why it's hit or miss a lot of the time. When these boys came to me and said they wanted to do this thing, my first round of questions, I didn't care what they were trying to build. I wanted to know, can you build it? That was my first question. Can you build it? I don't care about your concept. I don't care about aliens, planets, whatever. Can you do what you're trying to do? And after conversation and realizing that the technical capability is there, then we can move on into the rest. So after nailing that down, I'll explain the game concept, right? So we've moved past the metaverse gaming element. Now, what this is essentially, it will be a PvP, PvE kind of arena battler. So our final, the actual playable characters, which will also be the avatars in our metaverse, will be the aliens, right? So we'll label that the species drop. Now these aliens, of course, because this is a game, every game has a meta, and you know that, right? What will determine the meta would be a couple of things. First of all, the alien species, because the aliens would be influenced by the galaxy from which they come from. In a macro view, in the micro view, they're influenced by the continent, which is placed on the planet, which is within the galaxy, right? So you've got your aliens. And then, as you can see in the white paper, it is also a customizable game in the sense that we will have equipment crafting. We have equipment crafting. We've got also trait customization. For instance, if your alien has a stinger or something, we can say like, oh, you make it metal tipped or something like that, you know? So it is very much customization
And I
beyond.
would like to, I would like to add one point. And the trade customization is not fusible. Like we are not fusing the NFTs. All the trades will remain tradable for life. You know what I mean? Like the inventories you have in game. For example, you play multiple online games, right? So you got inventories in them. You have different types of armors in your inventories. You have different types of weapons in your inventory. So you choose a specific armor or specific weapon when you come into fight or come into the meta space, and that's what your alien will equip. So you can trade them afterwards. It's not fusing or burning them with a single NFT. The customization part.
Okay. I think I read somewhere too with your traits. You said the traits will be tradable or something like that. But if you
Uh,
do decide to put that trait onto your character, then the base trait would be burned.
It will be burned when it will be upgraded. So we've got customization and upgradation both. Upgradation is the leveling up your trades, which will give you more perks in battles. Just as you play in regular games, right? It's all regular games implemented on blockchain. Nothing new. We are not doing something completely out of the way. Just like you play Call of Duty and all multiplayer games, it's similar to that concept. We are just implementing it on blockchain.
Wait, so you said there's a difference between between upgrading and
Upgradation.
Customization and upgradation. So, for instance, Nick, so what we're talking about here is this. So, customization, right? You got your alien, you put a piece of armor on him. You can swap that armor out. You've got leather armor, you got whatever. You can swap that armor out. That's customization.
okay.
Upgradation. Your alien has got wings, right? You want to increase the height or whatever that this guy can fly, or the wind damage or whatever. You upgrade the wing that this alien has, because it's a trait on this wing, on this alien's body. You can't take the wing out and swap it, but you can upgrade it, right? So
Okay.
what we're looking at is a pre-game loadout, the same way you would let's see, what's the game that you'd load up? I don't know, maybe Smite. I'm not too sure. It's not like League of Legends or Dota or anything whereby it's the same character and then you buy the items in game. It's more like before you enter the arena, you pick what you want to put on them, right? So your
Yeah,
weapon,
yeah.
your armor, blah blah blah. So the difference between upgradation and customization with regards to the technical element of them, as Vikram said, one is a burn, one is not. With regards to the playable element of them, one is reversible, one is not. So when you
Okay.
upgrade your wings, now they're level 3, right? They're level 3. You're not going to be able to like, oh, I'll take the resource back and downgrade the wing or something. You can just move up. That's it.
Unless
So
you
as
prestige,
you do
which
that,
I
as
don't
you
think
do,
you can.
yeah, as you do the upgradation, in fact, your base NFT becomes more valuable because you've
Yeah.
sunk resources into it, right? This is now a level 4 something. It's not like a base one. So there's actually a lot of, if you look at it, the economics of our game is very much determined by meta. And that's what we were trying to achieve, because having a meta is what removes the predictability element from it. Like when you were talking to Cosmo yesterday, yeah, y'all mentioned how you said you like playing Apex Legends because of that randomness element to it, whereby you get into the game and you don't know what gun the other guy has, right? It's not mechanical. it's something you go in and you're going to have to assess every single time. The same concept should apply to our game, in the sense that, because it is individual characters, right, that you load out on your own. So you enter, you see, oh shit, okay, this is what we're up against, alter your strategy. Now, to go back to the main question about the game, why I started off with the aliens first is because now that we're on the point of trait customization, right, and crafting, these things require resources. That's how our mechanic will work. These things would require resources. So, as you'll see in our white paper, we've got 4 different types of resources. These resources are generated by the continents, which it will be our second mint. Now, when the continents drop, once we go live with the continents, after a certain period of time, after during which time we've collated all the all the continents that have come out, we will start resource generation. So our resource generation starts well before the game does. This is because when the game goes live, we want you to be able to have enough resources to, first of all, play with things, right? And secondly, again, this is a game. We're not looking to build a 2D mobile scroller, right?
Yeah.
So that development will take time, but that doesn't mean that the project is asleep. It's not. We've got so many things going on, and in fact, it was designed this way first. I only explained the aliens first because if you want to know the long-term view of this project, and this is a long-term project, Nick, it's not something that will be here and gone in 3 months. You know what I mean? So I explained that first because that is the vision. But for now, what we're doing is we're doing the planet mint, right? Planet and then continent and then aliens. So resources for the game are generated in the middle stage, the continent stage. The first stage we're doing right now is planets. And this is, can I look at the timestamp on this? Because I'm going to have to share this with a lot of people. I'm going to explain the planet mint right now.
Yeah, we're at
Okay,
3150.
3150. All right. So here's why the planet mint is a big deal for the Voyage ecosystem, right? As you'll notice with a lot of projects, they have these things like early access cards. They've got club cards. And what these club cards do are, first of all, discounted future mint prices. That's a standard. Any sort of early token has this, right? And I don't blame them. It's an incentive. It's an incentive. Oh, your drink looks whack.
Oh, because of
It's an
the
incentive for getting in early. So for that reason, of course, that's what an early access token does. With our planets, it has a couple of mechanics that makes it really interesting to hold over time. The first mechanic is, as the boys have decided, all future mints to planet owners will be at 30% discount. And that sounds massive. But you see, I'm a finance guy. Anytime the boys come up with a proposal for utility for something, I break the numbers down. That's my main thing. So when Vikram said he wanted to do the 30% discount for planet holders, initially 30% had my brain racking, right? Like my banker brain was just like, you're mad. And then and then I thought about it. We've got 1,600 planets, Nick. It's 1,600 planets. Like, how many continents could you possibly buy? Like, as a planet owner, right? If you can pick up like a bunch to make that 30%, some huge amount, kudos to you. You know what I
yeah.
mean? We can still offer such value to our holders without actually sticking ourselves dry. It's super possible. That's the first thing, the 30% discount. The second thing, and this is something super interesting, as I mentioned, the resources go live when continents go live. So people who hold continents start generating resources, but a second mechanic kicks in, which is the planet tax. Now, if you hold a continent that is on my planet and you're sitting there generating resources, I get a cut. So you can hold multiple. That's the thing. Based on the galaxy that your planet is in, you would already know the primary resource that will be generated by continents on these planets. For that reason, you can already plan. You can already plan if you want. You already also know what these resources are used for the most part. Actually, it's in
Am
the
I right?
white paper.
Am I right to assume that there will be 400 planets per galaxy, and then or 400
Is
continents
it
per?
exactly, or is it plus minus?
It is exactly 400 planets per galaxy.
Okay, so all of those planets will be earning a like type of, let's say, like uranium,
Yeah,
right? Like this one,
yeah,
and titanium
yeah.
for this one.
Not
something.
one,
Yeah.
not one. They have
They will
it's
have
done
one. They
by,
will. I will explain this part. They will have one dominant resource, but they will be getting all four resources on them.
Okay.
One resource is going to be dominant on each planet, and it's going to be different for every planet.
Okay. And then how many continents will there be underneath like each galaxy, I guess, or
It,
planet?
it depends on the tier of your planet. Basically, we divided the planets in three tiers: tier A, tier B, tier C. Tier A is like the large planet. The large planet will automatically get more continents when we drop the continents. So more continents mean more resources because you will get more cut when we start implementing resource generation, and that's how it's divided. It's all written in the metadata itself.
Okay. And it'll be random when we mint on determining if we get like a small, medium, or large planet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yes,
yeah,
Okay. And
exactly.
I'm assuming, are those the sizes, small, medium, large?
yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, but yeah, essentially we have class A, B, C, but it's small, medium, large.
Okay.
Um, the if you want a little bit more mechanic of this, it's a bit more than arbitrary. I mean, it's not just for us to determine rarity because the rarity doesn't matter. For us, it was the utility. So the reason we split it into that is exactly for this purpose. Because for now, we can just tell you it's small, medium, or large. But we already know that it ties to how many continents will be on the planet. We know that just by telling that mathematically, it should generate a lot of resources. A lot, like it should generate more resources because of the tax. That's about it. You know what I mean? So off the bat, before any further mechanic is divulged, you would already know which planets are good, which planets are blah blah. And we do have a hidden mechanic that we're waiting for. We're waiting for the mint to reveal. But this
Okay.
hidden mechanic is it should cause a frenzy. Like
Yeah, it will.
yeah.
Okay.
It will.
Okay.
And the thing is, like, I love this hidden mechanic. This was Vikram's idea, and you can see him just like smiling away. I love this mechanic, and I've been dying to talk about it. Like, these guys have like held me down in multiple, like either in the chat room or like when I was doing that interview with Koof the other day. I was almost like, wow, and we were like, "No, okay, we'll wait for the mint." But it's exciting. We're all gamers ourselves, Nick, and
So yeah, the thing is, this was meant to be a game first rather than an NFT project. That's how we designed our white paper, right? So if you're gonna look at other projects, I would not like to name them, but they release an NFT first and they try to incorporate a game into it just to bring some sort of utility with it. But ours is a game first and an NFT project. If you look at this way, that's how we just came up with the white paper and all.
I love that. That's awesome. So, all right. So you're talking about the continents, or you were talking about the planets, and then you got to the continents will give them a percentage of what they're, I guess, accumulating, whatever resource it is, and then a percentage of that. Do we know what the percentage is that will go towards the planets?
no, no, we're
Okay.
not doing that yet. Nah, that's later. But yeah, so um, you see, something as simple as that number, there are a couple of things to look at. First of all, we've got a lot of work to do to collate the total resources so that we know roughly what the tax should be. Secondly, we have to further delve into this one idea that we've come up with, whereby that percentage varies across certain spaces in the map. Because just like any other universe or whatever, you have conflicts, right? So in a high conflict area, you probably have higher taxes or whatever. We're still toying with that. That's why we didn't say anything because it's everything is about feasibility testing, Nick. You can have a million ideas, but you see, a lot of things go by the under promise over deliver thing, and that was catchy for a while. But you can't use that as an excuse to not make promises. Then what are people buying? You
Right.
know, the thing is to find that sweet spot whereby you promise something you can deliver. And so for that reason, it's the up to the boys to tell me what they can deliver, what they what they are looking at and how to whatever, and then I come in and look at the feasibility element of it. And at the end of the day, because of the composition of this team, which is why I keep coming back to the team, because of where these boys are, where they are in life at the moment, they've got this huge resource that they are tapping. The boys actually have the university's computer lab at their disposal. And when the associate professor eventually joins us as well, that lab is basically a resource. You know, the generation of assets, 1,600 planets. These boys left the computer running for like a couple of days and something, and then bump, it's done, right? Because you've got the
It's
resources.
very
Like if
curious.
we were talking about if we were talking about a team that just came out of their basements one day and were like, "Hey, we wanted to do a metaverse project, right? What are you gonna generate it on? Like, just the capital outflow from that would just be insane." But with this team, everything works. It's all there. It's all in place. It just needed to be pulled together, and we need to run, which is what we're gonna do now.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, I didn't even think about the fact that you have like an entire lab to your disposal. Like that is so freaking
A
cool.
lab and an army, and
Yeah.
like and these are all friends, right? We're friends, and I don't know if it varies from place to place, but in Asia, when you've got your uni mates and stuff like that, everyone's brothers. Everyone eats out the
Yeah,
same plate. Everyone
yeah,
eats out the same plate, sleeps in the same bed time and time again, shares the same clothes, kind of thing. It's so if my uni mate came up, and this has happened, like my own housemate, he's got a project of his own that's basically a trading platform and all that. But same, like you come on board when someone who's close to you is doing something. You come on board and you just help. You don't go like, what's my hourly, whatever, whatever. And of course that is up to Vikram and the boys. And I know the integrity is there. They have the arrangement with their classmates, but the classmates help. Like, they have people who help. So we don't have to look at a lot of we don't have to try to answer a lot of the questions that most metaverse gaming projects have to struggle to answer at the start, because it's all there. Our biggest asset, Voyage's biggest asset, is actually this guy. It's him and Prerak, right? And whatever they bring
100%.
to the table, because they can do this shit on their own. They can do it in their sleep. Like I told the boys to push out a website. I told the boys to push out a website before we did anything, because I don't want I don't want us to be a project that goes to mint asking you for 140 per planet and saying that, oh, website tomorrow.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, that was a big concern I know for retro heads when they first came out.
Yeah. So I didn't want to do that. And the thing is, when I told Vikram I need the website out, he was just like, "Man, we just generated like the planets. I haven't slept. Like, what, do we do it or not?" And I was just like, "Do it. Sleep in 2 days." You know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they did. They did. And you see the reception that came out of that? Because that website was done by two boys. Imagine what 20 can do.
Yeah.
And that's just like a teaser, right? And even with the teaser, I don't know if you realize the front page of the website, that embark page, right? It's actually a teaser to the 3D viewer that we'll have coming on after our mint. Because if you go on that embark page, you can play with that ball. You can like zoom in, zoom out, play with it, move it around.
Hold on, I'm gonna
It's
try to go to the website. What is it called again? Is Voyage
CNFTvoyage.com.
CNFT Voyage. Wait for it to load up and then head over to their site. My computer's lagging. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay. I see it. All right,
Yeah,
let me share
you
this.
playing with it.
Yeah,
So
you can
that's
I was
zoom in,
playing with
zoom
it a
out.
little bit. So this right
yeah,
here, right?
Yeah, you can
exactly.
zoom in
So
and zoom out too.
you can, yeah.
Oh, you can zoom out far.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
That's
that's
crazy.
that's it. That's just a sneak peek, and we didn't even draw any attention to it. Like, the only people who know about that, because generally when you come to that page, what you do is like you triple click it. Oh, you haven't been on the website?
I haven't been on the website,
Oh, bro.
bro. I didn't know it was like this. This is crazy.
Yeah. I mean,
Roadmap, team,
it's
planets.
it's not even the updated website. Like we're gonna update it even further when we move to different stages. It's like just a base template for initial mint and all.
yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. No, I like this. This is cool. How long did this take you to do?
2 days.
2 days. Dang,
See what I mean, man?
bro. This would
You
take me
see
like 5 years. That's
Yeah,
freaking
so that's
awesome, dude.
that's what I'm saying. I know we're coming out and promising big things, but we have every right to do that. Take a look at who's promising you. You know,
Yeah,
and I'm look. I'm in the finance line. I understand investment. I understand investing. if someone comes up to you and says like, oh, this is what I'm planning to do. How do you plan to do it? I don't know. We'll figure it out. I mean, it
That's
doesn't.
not the answer you want to hear.
No, no, it's not at all. And like it just doesn't make sense. I think the whole thing about spicy JPEGs has taken us away from the fact that what we're actually doing here is investing, right? It takes us away from the fact, like you look at the three pictures behind me, and they're like some really wait, which thing? There's some really good ones. Like I love these pictures, but they're investing. They cost me
Right.
so much money in those things, right? And when you're investing, there are certain questions that you have to ask. And if those questions are not answered, no matter how nice the thing you're looking at is, it doesn't matter. Because until then, you are buying a piece of art. Until you are sure that the utility promised is achievable, you're buying a piece of art.
Right.
So it's just feasibility testing needs to happen. And that's why actually, frankly, a lot of projects can rug,
Yeah.
right? Because they hit you with the buzzwords. Metaverse DAO, refunds, floor sweep. They hit you with the buzzwords.
And a
And
lot of
then
them are undoxed, so they can just leave without
that's it.
any people
Yeah,
like being like, who are these people? It's like, well, we can't find
without
out.
consequences for one. That's true. But I think, look, man, we operate we operate in an environment where it's the Wild West here. There's no regulation. There's no regulation for any of this shit. I'm not talking about tax. And even then with tax, right? If my NFT pot has like 10x, just don't sell them this tax here. Fine,
Yeah.
you're fine. My investment value is still holding, right? But
Well, depends, I guess.
yeah, it could, but I mean, it's more like no. Even if you sold your NFT for ADA and you didn't cash it out, you bypass so many tax laws, like so many. It's better. I mean, I don't know whether it's better or worse to do that before the regulations come in place. But I mean, with regards to accountability for a lot of things, right? Let me just tell you this, Nick. If a DAO, as we know them in our Cardano space, DAO, right? If they came up for a funding proposal, they would get laughed out the bank's doors, and I'd be the one laughing because it's an idea, sure, but it's an idea for something that is contingent on infrastructure that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying here?
I mean,
So
and they're buying assets that a lot of people aren't like really cool with. Like we're all cool with it, but do you know how many
yeah,
people are actually in the CNFT space? Like it's not as large as people may think. Now
that's the
even
thing.
now Ethereum NFTs are a little bit bigger, but even then, like it's not even that many people over there either. You know,
Yeah,
we're still so freaking early.
that's the thing. So you have concepts that don't quite tie into the current environment for certain things. It's for certain things. Like I won't go too much into the DAO thing. I've been vocal about it on Twitter, like when DAOs first came up. But long story short, like you gotta know what you're buying. You gotta know the product that you're buying, and you gotta know is the product what was advertised, right?
Right.
And as a business person, that's where my a lot of my focus is. It's about coming up with a strategy and a plan that is achievable so that we can make promises. I don't want to sit here and say, wait and see what happens, buy one of my planets. That's not it. I've told you my
Right.
plan. We've told you our plan. And we as much as we can, we're telling you how we intend to achieve them. We are now just going through the stages. A lot of I see a lot of projects that come up with the art, go straight to Discord, Twitter, whatever, giveaway promotion, blah blah blah, mint, and then after that they get stuck because
Yeah.
they never thought what next, right? With
Yeah.
Voyage, our supply is low. We're not focused on the hype, on the whatever. We're not. What we're trying to do is get people to understand the product because we understand the way the NFT market works. We are also collectors. A lot of things are bought to flip. And frankly speaking, if that's what you plan to do with Voyage, just buy for a quick flip. It's going to shoot you in the butt because primarily, very soon after our first mint, the 3D Planet Viewer comes out. And it's like we have a lot
And
of
we
developers
have
that
an hidden utility that we haven't discussed about that. We're gonna drop an announcement related to it too. So as you told about how Bears did it,
Yeah.
like how their floor shoot up after an announcement, we've also got an announcement planned after to spice up the secondary market. Yeah,
So when does that announcement come out? Are you thinking like a week after mint, 2 weeks after mint?
yeah. So sort of that,
should be a
like
bit less than that.
Okay.
yeah, and it can be a bit less than that too. So it's all in our hand. Like when we drop information about it,
it's all
but
it's all
it's
about visibility, Nick. So we've got the ideas. Once we know the timeline exactly when it can be done, for instance, if the 3D viewer we know is coming out in 3 days, then I'll do the announcement today, because I generally don't like a situation whereby last month we said it'll be out at the end of the month, and then nearing the month we're like, oh shit, ran into problems, sorry guys, next week. I'd rather we like I tell Vikram, we talk about the art when we're 70% done, we talk about the generation of planets when we're 70% done, we talk about having uploaded things when we're 70% done. It's always 70 is my comfort benchmark. So same thing here. Once with the planet viewer blah 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 is about 70% done, then we can talk about it. Until then, what are we talking about?
Gotcha. So there was a question by Osai. This is a long time ago, maybe like 20 minutes ago. But Osai says, "Is there any plan to let non-landowners play in
Yeah,
the PvP?"
yeah,
Favorite net.
that's a
Vikram, you or I?
am I? I'm going to answer it. So that's a nice question. Like we have written this in our white paper itself. So we will be giving the landless owner a chance to enter our metaverse. They can do so by paying certain sort of rent in the amount of our native currency to the continent or planet owners, and they can experience our the immersive world we are trying to build in. And if they own a alien species, they can certainly like get a chance to play in the PvP battles.
So is the PvP is I would assume, but I think I'm wrong here. If you own an alien, you can participate in the
Yeah.
PvP, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
you
Okay.
can participate.
So
It's
you
just that,
okay.
as I explained in one of the earlier things, if you actually intend to get involved in the Voyage metaverse, right? Um, you need a resource generating asset, because if you just picked up an alien, then the only thing you do with that alien is actually use it and run around on whatever metaverses we have. That would just be dipping your toes, quite frankly, because you get creamed in the PvP battles if you don't have any gear, and and then you don't have the planets, so you can rent them to go hang out and whatever. But generally, we are and have been providing ample time for those interested in the universe to participate on a large scale. You know, the at the moment our planet mint. Think about it, where we are now. At the moment, it's just another mint, right? In a year and a half, these people will be planet lords. They'd be like barons. They'd own multiple planets. They would have accumulated over like the months or whatever, and they'd have fat stacks of resources. The PvP capabilities for these guys
and
in particular
and
would be
and
huge.
the resources are tradable on our marketplace. We are also building a marketplace. The resources can be traded what do you call that? Uh, in form of our native currency, like our native currency will be pegged to certain amount of ADA. That depends on the supply and demand. But yeah, the resources are tradable. Like it's sort of a passive income too. You can sell your resources that your planet mined and minted.
Okay. And so if you have the alien, you can battle in PvP, but do the planets and continents give you any other benefit with the aliens other than resources that can be used to create better armor for the aliens? Is there any sort of like
Yeah,
in battle?
they can, yeah, they are not used in battles, but they can build structures on their continents. Like they can host spaceships too. We are also trying to introduce some spaceships which will help you to travel between the galaxies and planets, and they can build whatever they want. Like you build in an actual metaverse. The continent and planet are part of the meta aspect, and the aliens will be like the
The
avatars and
game.
will be used in battles
Okay.
in game experience. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm assuming, let's say you have I don't know what the resources are, but like titanium over
Yeah.
here, but like,
So shall I give you a brief info about the resources, the
yeah.
four resources? So there is going to be four resources. The first one is elixir. Elixir is going to shorten the time when you travel from one planet to another. Uh, it shortens the time and helps you to move at great speed while traveling from different planets. The second resource will be rock. From rock, you can extract different types of minerals, which will be used in developing and constructing structures on your continent. And the third one is going to be antimatter, which is like the energy resource. Like your energy gets exhaust when you play certain amount of games, right? Online games, you need certain amount of energy to power up your character or your weapons and all. So the antimatter resource will help you to energize your character and all. And the fourth one will be crystal will be used in upgradation and customization part of the game.
Okay. All right, and you can earn all four of those, but there's like one main
One,
one per
one,
planet.
one main
Yeah.
one for every planet.
So
Okay.
we're
And
doing it in ratios. You've got the galaxy determines the primary resource. So you'd have maybe about 70% resource A. And then within that galaxy itself, within the planet, each planet will already have it'll have a fixed amount of like resource generation. So you would know, and then that would be split amongst the continents on the planet. So we have that nailed down, and you would have certain planets would be maybe 80-20. So resource A, resource B. You might even have 80-15-5. You might have 80-10-10. you know
okay. So what will there be all of the resources at some varying level of
It doesn't
percentage?
have to be. You could have like two resources generated on one planet, but then of course the trade-off is they would be in a larger percentage. Obviously,
Okay.
we have it generating two resources. You'd have maybe 80-20 as opposed to 85-5-10 or something.
Right.
So then
Okay.
again, that's up to you, right? So if you know you want two resources, you're better off stacking 80-20s than you are 85-5s. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's actually really cool. Let
Yeah,
me
so with the resource generation, there'd been a fair few things that we needed to balance. Like one of the questions we'd been asked earlier is, will some resource be more valuable than the other? And the answer to that is my favorite answer to anything game related. Depends on the meta. Obviously, like, if people demand, it's all supply demand based. So, like we said, our Voyager token, we're going to have a marketplace whereby you can buy and sell the resources using the Voyager token. There's two forms of economy here. There's the resources to Voyager token, and then there's Voyager token to ADA. So the Voyager token to ADA is tokenomics. Our game in-game economy, we are already devising something. What we are thinking at the moment is a sense whereby the number, I mean, like we peg a certain amount of voya to a certain amount of resources, and then as the in-game supply and demand moves, it could basically be like one of those stock tickers, supply demand, and then the price moves. It's very doable, it's very implementable, so that's not a problem. And establishing the in-game economy is a lot more about the concept than it is about the execution, because the tech to do it all is there. It's about, does your concept make sense?
Gotcha. So I know you've been talking about meta, and we all know that in every game, right? Like you said, there is always going to be a meta. There is almost there is an impossible formula, maybe somewhere that can balance everything perfectly, but
Yeah.
almost never, right? So is there a meta that you guys are going to be aiming for, or is it just going to kind of happen by itself? Do you think?
No, we will. You put the parameter with any game development. You put the parameters in place with an idea of how things are going to work. Fire beats grass, water beats fire, grass beats water. Right? That you put the parameters in place. But how things develop, it's actually going to be very wild west. And in fact, when the game first comes out, I don't have the slightest doubt that the first 3 months we're going to have to do a lot of patch balances, and that's why we're having the associate professor has got game dev experience, right? So these are things that we are looking at solving, and these are problems that I've already seen from a mile away. So these are things we will be addressing. But like any game, even League of Legends, I keep saying League of Legends, I've been playing it for 10 years, I can't stop with that. But like even League of Legends, right, every 3 weeks they update their patch. Why? It's not because they've had a new thing to add. It's balancing changes. It's all balancing, because one guy sitting at home in a basement somewhere would have realized if you press A 3 times, you suddenly kill everyone. And then that's the meta now. And then the
Yeah.
devs are like, shit, we gotta change that. It doesn't make sense. That's exactly what will happen to Voyage. And that's how you develop a meta. It is a feedback response. There's a feedback loop here.
Gotcha. One sec. I'm just reading through my questions, making sure I have everything. Actually, I think these may be all the questions I had. Let's see. I know there's got to be more. What is so? I know you couldn't answer the percentage that you get from the continents. I know you didn't want to answer that. Um, so, are there any other benefits of holding a planet? So, you get the 30% off of the continents. You get some
The
of
whitelist.
their resources, and then uh, what are the other benefit? Oh, you also get whitelisted.
Yeah, you get whitelisted for all future mints. And the fourth one is the hidden utility that we
Yeah,
don't
the
really want to.
we've got an asteroid drop coming up in phase 3 and phase 4, so that will help you in the colonization and exploration part in that we are planning in game. So we don't wanna reveal much about our future plans right now because it doesn't make sense right now. So yeah, we've got something more planned in our mind for planet owners because planets are like the founding stones of our game, so
Of the
we gotta
metaverse
make them
itself.
more valuable at each point.
Okay. Jeremy Crypto. He says, if I turn on my game and hop into a match, what will it kind of look like? Is it like a first person shooter? Will you guys push for a competitive scene like ranked or esports?
Okay, so like as I mentioned earlier, what we're looking at, it's not an FPS. We're looking for something more like an arena battler. So to drop a name, if I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with something like Smite, whereby it is an RPG character. You've got a set of like three skills they can do. You run around an enclosed arena and just start bashing other players, right? That would be what roughly the 1v1 PvP should look like. And then we've got skirmishes. We've got the large scale stuff, which is more planet to planet. We've got alien to alien gaming. Then we've got the planet planet gaming. And the planet, of course, will come out a bit further down. It'll be the alien to alien first. But yeah, with regards to honestly, that's a great question, Jeremy. With regards to the ranked and the esports and stuff like that, ranked matches, of course, we're going to have ranked matches because that's something we can internally control. Now, with esports, again, tying to promises and delivery, the answer to that question, of course, as the developers, we would hope that this enters something of a competitive larger scene. And it will be something that we push further down the line. At this point in time, this is not something that we've considered because we haven't come up with a game yet. But obviously, as a gamer myself, Vikram's a gamer, even even Nick's a gamer, right? Of course, we'd want to see that. At the end of the day, to answer the second part, will we enter a competitive scene like esports competitive scenes? Will you see Navi and Fnatic playing Voyage in the future? Hopefully, but it totally depends on whether or not the game takes off. That's the honest answer here. That's the honest answer. No one's going to watch something if the game doesn't take off. So our job, as it has been from the first day, isn't particularly to look at these consequentials. It is to deliver the best quality product we can, and the rest of it comes. Like if we don't
and
deliver, we won't get ranked. That's it.
and make an actually like enjoyable blockchain game, right? Because if you see the current blockchain games right now, you don't go out of your way to play them, right? Because the mechanics are not very well developed right now. It will, because we are very early in this space, it requires constant updation and upgradation. They have to incorporate more dynamic stuff to make. So it's like that. If you see the initial website, right, and if you see the websites nowadays, so the tech requires constant updation. That's how the tech evolves. So the this space is also very new. We won't reach the peak yet because it's very early, but down the line couple of years we will be seeing some cool advanced stuff on blockchain games and meta worlds.
So they also want to know, R2 wants to know any date slash month that we can have the game maybe expecting to be close to fully operational.
Yeah, by end of quarter 4 this year, or by by early quarter 1 next year, 2023. Yeah, by quarter 1 2023, we will surely try to give you a fully operational game first. Then we will move towards the meta and pre-exploration part of the uh, project. Yeah.
And is there a map that you already have out as well?
We don't have a map right now, but we will be surely incorporating it once we go through the continent drops.
Okay. And then
Because with regards to the one of the Akash Kumar says collabs, of of course collabs, guys. Look, with regards to collabs, here's something I wanted to make clear. Collaborations with Voyage go beyond slapping a logo on a PFP. You know what I mean? We are actually looking for interoperable utility. That's the main thing. Initially, I started by saying we could just do some fun collabs in the sense that initially we toyed with the idea of like, let's say we collabed with Project A, then we have a Project A planet, right? But it's not feasible because our planets are, that would mean 100 or something continents that are themed after a certain project. And if it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. What we're doing instead is our collaborations would go more towards the alien species and or the continent terrain. So with that said, I have been talking to people. Yes, we have been talking to some projects. There are actually two that we've identified as interoperable, and I'm in talks with their founders. We're talking to them. I won't drop any names just yet because these guys are quite busy with their stuff. One of them is minting soon. One of them just released a huge announcement. So we've got that. On the other hand, with regards to the collabs, we've got things in the works, but you won't see them happening in the first stage. Even for the continent drop, for the most part, right? Only the ones that work would be something that we would seek to include. We won't be rushing to try and push them in because at every single stage of this entire project, we've got space for work with other people. We've got space for collaboration. We've got space for improvement. Even with traits, can you like, let's say what's a project? Uh, okay, can't drop names. Project A. Let's say we talk to Project A, right? Um, it doesn't even have to be like, oh, Project A planet. Down the line, we can just go like, oh, you like helmets? Project A helmet, craft it with this much elixir, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? There's so much room to work together. And me being like, I'm someone who spent a lot of time in the community. I've spoken to a lot of the creators, right? So I know a lot of them. We talk to each other and stuff. And a lot of it is actually about networking and cross pollination of communities, which is why what I've been doing for the last 5 days or something is I have been dropping whitelists to verified holders in certain servers. And there have been a couple of projects that actually were very interested, and I would really like to say thanks to them. Like, we had Chilled Kongs come in and get a bundle of whitelist. We had Universe 25. We had Rats DAO. We had Emerald DAO. So we've got a bunch of people coming in and looking at this. And when these projects that I myself hold in high esteem come and ask for whitelist, I give it to them because I know the community that they have. I know who they've got in there, and these projects that have supported us from the start, like, we're not asking for that much. We're not asking you to shill us or anything. I talk to the guys. You see what I'm doing. The project creators themselves come on board and like what Voyage is doing, so they find sharing a whitelisting. That's okay. I know that whoever they end up picking would be people I would want in our community anyway. So there's a lot of work that goes into what we're doing, but I'm not. Uh, I guess you can say I'm doing it in a way that we build the relationship first, and then we see what we can bring to each other's table. But that being said, there are two projects that are very, very likely to pull through at the moment.
so you can't leak those though, huh?
I can't because one of them, like I said, is minting soon, and he would shit his pants if I just started talking about this. And and the other one is still in talks, and they've got a lot of announcements and stuff coming up soon as well. And we're still yet to see, of course, the direct collab we can talk about is, oh, alien species themed after what. But I don't want to stop there, right? If I'm doing a collab with someone, I want to see what else we can do for each other with each other. So that talk again, we are now 5 days away from our first mint, right? And after the first mint, we already have three things planned. Anything that we do should be, I like an organized workflow. So anything that I plan, anything that we work will be slotted in as and where they are seen fit. But for now, we've got the mint, we've got the 3D viewer coming up, we've got the surprise utility. The next, even after mint, the next 2 weeks should be very eventful. And that's the thing, our Discord is not something that we host Gartic and game nights or something like that for. We had a mock movie night yesterday, and we're going to have a movie night on Friday. We're watching Interstellar, and then we're releasing some info at the end of it. Space mood and all that. But yeah, the Discord is more a place where we talk to the people who are in there who want to find out a bit more about the project. So like I said, we enjoy questions. We like being able to explain things to people, because misconceptions for a game, for a project that is 90% concept, it is, it's not something we want to have. I would like to clear as many misconceptions as we can. In fact, if people ask about things, and most of the time the questions that are asked are actually in the white paper, we take the time to just respond, because what, like, that's our job,
That's your
right?
job, yeah.
I'm making something, I want you to see it. I'm not even
Right.
telling you to buy it, I just want you to see it. That's the same thing with these interviews. With the last interview, whenever I asked someone to take a look, I never said come buy, come in or anything. I just want you to see it, listen to what we're talking about. If we haven't impressed you in this session, if we haven't impressed you in the last session, that's on us.
Yeah.
But I think we would have. Like, there's a lot that's very well thought out. And if anyone, yeah, I mean, like, if anyone has questions to what they think would be a problem, or a hitch in our roadmap, I'll heavily answer it. Now, I'll happily answer it. And the best part is, if I don't have an answer, I know what I should be looking at now, and I'll solve it. I'm down for conversation. It doesn't scare me.
So you guys, I've been thinking about this. You have 1,600 of the planets, right? And then each 400 in each galaxy. But then how many continents will be underneath the?
To be released.
Okay,
It's a big one. The
gotcha.
continents will be a big one,
Will
because
there?
the continents are the resource generating entity, and they are also the homes for the aliens that we drop eventually, right? So we need to ensure there's sufficient variety, as well as for our generation mechanic, because we have a generation mechanic for the continents, um, which, of course, too early to talk about. In fact, we will reveal things phase by phase. So we have the overview picture, but for actual details as to percentage here, number there, we won't say anything, because we need to see how the last phase goes first. After the planet drop, I will know how many continents exactly, roughly, I would like to have within this system, that system, and all that. We'd be able to tell by a bunch of things. So the number of the continent drop, unsure. Resource tax percentage, unsure. We've got numbers in our head, but I'm not saying it because I don't want to flip flop.
Right.
I understand for a fact that my number is not concrete at the moment, so I'd just rather not say anything about it.
So I'm
But yeah, at
assuming
the end
that.
of the day, it will all favor economics.
Gotcha. So I'm assuming the ADA mint price will also be up in the air just in case, like
Of
fluctuation
course.
for ADA.
Of course, it will. It will. The thing is, with our first mint price at 140, if you really think about it, we are minting for cheaper than, I think we would be minting effectively for cheaper than what Matador minted at.
You said then what?
El Matador,
Oh,
that,
right.
yeah.
So they
I
were
think
they were at 100 ADA, right? At
they
like
were at
100.
100 at like what was ADA at that time? 120,
It's like
$1.20.
110, I think, or something like that.
I think it could have been close to like 120, but we are looking
120.
at, based on my charting, we are looking at 90-cent ADA on the
Yeah.
18th. Could be even less if that demand zone
Is
doesn't
that where
hold.
it's at right now? Is that 90 cents right now?
It's 95, but
Oh yeah.
but we're like, we're sugar, we're going down swinging. Um, but yeah, so that's my point, right? So yeah, my plan was actually to leave. The thing with pricing, man, like, everyone's so lucky Vikram's fought me on this, but I don't like 140. I think with ADA on the downswing, I don't like it. I think what we're trying to build is I think the fund bank is important, but actually, even at our current mint price, okay, the fund bank is fine. It's just with ADA going down the way it is, right? Like, I just don't see the complaint. I don't, and I'm not budging on that because again, I'm a finance man. If the finances don't make sense, if I come up with you and say a 90 ADA mint at 90 cent Cardano, what am I trying to give you, Chick-fil-A, or am I trying to give you a metaverse? You know,
Hey
like,
man, I love some Chick-fil-A.
yeah, so do I, but it's not for 90 ADA.
Right, right.
Like, so it's like that's what I'm saying. That's why you need a business head alongside tech heads, right? You need to know whether things are feasible, and it's easy for everyone to jump in a server and say, "Oh, shit's expensive," blah blah. I'm like, didn't you mint like 15 of that rug? Like, like,
Yeah.
so that's where I'm at. Like quality demands quality. Sorry.
No, you're fine. So
Yeah.
I don't know what they mean by this, but
Yeah, I
Gabriela
don't know what global
Lopez,
village means either.
I think what they're saying is, will you be able to visit any of the continents? Maybe is what they're saying, which I'm
Yeah,
assuming is yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
because
that's
you
yes,
the
said
plan.
there's
That's the metaverse plan. But
yeah,
as
yeah.
Vikram explained earlier, game first, metaverse visiting later.
right, and you said there's going to be a mechanic for traveling from one
Yeah,
planet to another, right?
yeah,
Will
yeah, yeah.
there also be a mechanic to travel one continent to another?
It all depends on like it all comes up with that part two. I mean, the traveling mechanic will be the same for continents and planets. You will get a spaceship and rovers and all of the vehicles you get in space. That's like basically like a space exploration game. It's nothing. It's all part of the plan. I mean, we will be releasing an updated white paper as soon we progress to further steps to give you a detailed insight about every little thing we're gonna incorporate.
The plan is for the white paper to be modular. So as
Yeah,
we discover the detailed processes, we put them in.
Gotcha. I'm just
Yeah.
imagining like, oh, like this continent is close to this continent, so maybe it takes less resources and less time
It
to
would.
travel.
That's literally
yeah,
it.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
what
Just
that's what the I forgot what the elixir or something, the reduced time travel and
elixir,
whatever.
elixir. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Of course. That's part of the mechanic.
Gotcha. And then obviously it takes longer for going planet to planet though.
planet. Yeah, absolutely. It will
Okay.
take longer and it will take more resources to
Are you
travel.
sure you're not a game dev, bro?
Hey man, I've like you said, dude, I've played so many video games that like everything is just in my head. You know, I'm just like, all right, so how will this work? How will this work?
So,
How will this work?
have you played that game No Man's Sky? It's
I've
also based on
I've
space
played a little
operating.
bit of it, but I was actually a little let down by it, so I stopped playing it pretty early on.
But the team only consists of four developers, right? The four
Oh,
developers
okay.
managed to build 16 quintillion planets with different textures and flora and fauna. So I'm not talking about hundreds and thousands. They built 16 quintillion different environments. They use very complex mathematical algorithms in their gaming engine. So it's not always about the quantity of the team. You can bank on the quality too.
Yeah. My only gripe with that was they had promised some other things that weren't ready on launch.
But I've heard that it got better with the recent updates and all. The
I
initial
heard
game
that
was
too.
not that. Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't
that's
actually.
how that's all happens with games and the metaverse aspect because it requires constant updation and upgradation to get better. If you look at Facebook in early 2010, the interface was not that good, right? But if you look at Facebook now, it all depends on how things progress, how new tech gets incorporated into the thing you are building, and that's how technology evolves.
Yeah, yeah, I love that answer.
Yeah. So I mean, with regards to where we are with this, the technology, of course, the technology gets more demanding as we proceed down the line, but our team gets more capable because that's how we built it, right? The expansion comes in, and once the associate professor comes in, once the boys associate professor comes in, the the team immediately what doubles in size. because we're a small team at the moment, right? And that expertise, the game dev expertise, is something that well, need is a strong word, but it would greatly step up the process,
Right.
like greatly. And this guy has got experience in governing startup IT companies and all that, you know. So at the moment where we're at with the team, we're fine to execute in the first phase, but we know for a fact that because this is something complex, we would need the personal expertise in that. And we've thought about it. Like, of course, you know, if I saw a project as well, and they're planning to make a game, I would ask them if they know any game devs. I wouldn't ask them if they have a game dev, which is really weird. It's strange when we put up the white paper, when we put up the website. I saw some people on Twitter saying, well, it was one person who said, "Oh yeah, this concept, I'm gonna need to see a triple A game demo before I consider buying." I'm like, bro, what is wrong with you? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, you think we're gonna come up with a triple A game just so that you consider minting a planet? Like, just think, you know, like the expectations in the space sometimes. But that's exactly where we're coming from. So, um, we know we need a game dev, and we're on it. Like, we actually have one. He just hasn't joined us yet because we don't need him yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with this drop, I'm assuming that's kind of what you're leading towards, is you're going to use some of this money to hire on some other people to kind of expedite the.
Not some, almost all. Like, we not no, no,
I'm,
we're not playing
yeah,
around with this. Like, this is a big
yeah,
thing.
I'm already in talks with my fellow classmates, and they all are very happy to join us on this project because I know certain people. I know who's expert in what field and all, so I know what he will bring to the table with if he joins the project, and that's how I chose specific people on to come up with us. Yeah.
So how many classmates do you have that are like, hey man, like, can I get an interview? Like, I want to work for you, or do they all work with
It's
you
not
and you
about
just.
it's not about interview because I've been working with them on multiple college projects since past 4 years, so I know what this guy is capable of doing. So I already filtered out on my own, and I told him
It's
about
task
that.
based.
Dude, yeah, that I'm building this and this, and I would need you on this part. So they are very much happy to join me on completing this project.
Gotcha. So you already know exactly who you're gonna pick once you get the
Yeah,
funds, and
yeah,
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 awesome.
yeah.
Yep. That's the business planning aspect of it, right? Because you can have the funds and not have someone to do the work, and you're still stuck. You're still
Yeah.
stuck. It comforts me a lot to know that in the business plan, the working pieces have a working relationship with each other. Like, I don't know. I mean, if people spend time in our server, they would know that Vikram and I have an amazing relationship. Like, we treat each other like brothers, and that's important. It's very important to have that kind of trust in a team, you know. And it's not just, we're not just talking about the main team. I'm talking about even your moderators, your contract staff, people you hire to do certain things, certain jobs, even people that, like, we got the poster done for the Koof interview, right? Even the person that I got to do that is a long-standing friend in the CNFT community. Like, it's about trust. You just build trust, and it between teammates especially. That's so important because you've seen, like, we are not going to be a project where halfway through we say, oh, someone has left us, don't worry, we've got a replacement. Like, you know, this is everyone's baby. It's everyone's baby. We're just dreaming of it from the start, and every night we go to sleep, we think about how to fix certain problems, which is why we've got up to here right now. And um, we're not, it's why we are okay with taking questions so much, right? Like, you see in the space, when people get asked questions and they balk or they panic or whatever, usually means that they either don't have an answer or are dishonest. We've made sure that before we came up to speak to anyone, we had the answers that would be asked, because that's important. If I don't have those answers, it's done. You're looking at basically another empty promise, not what we plan to do. Voyage plans to change the space, not just in terms of the concept, but the execution.
Got you. So uh outside says, will the spaces will the mints be spaced out, no pun intended, is what he said. And then
A
Mitchell, he responded and answered, but I think just in case somebody's like listening in their phones only, you know, and not reading, let's see what you guys got to say.
What did Mitch answer, by the way?
Oh, he said about 4 months in between mints,
Is
but I
that
don't know if
correct,
he's trolling or if
Vikram?
he's serious.
Vic, take it.
So
Oh no,
so Mitchell said
Vikram.
yep about 4 months in
Yeah.
between, but Oside said, will they be spaced out? And
Okay, okay, I see it.
yeah.
So it's not we've got things coming up in quarters, right? So yeah, it will be like 3 to 4 months time before means.
But it's
Yeah.
not gonna be planet drop, silence, continent drop,
Yeah,
right?
we
So
will be working in between on we
yeah,
will be building things like we will be dropping a 3D interactive platform for your planets in which you can connect your wallet to the website. It will give all the information about your planet, like which resources is dominant and so everything related to the planet, and you can just simply interact with it and view it in space, view it in an immersive environment. And then we will be thinking of dropping that announcement we planned with an announcement, and then we will be moving towards continent drops.
So when you get it dropped to you, like on mint day, I send in the ADA, I'm waiting, I'm excited, I get my planet, and I see it. Will I know? Will it give me in the metadata like this planet, earns elixir? Will it tell me
yeah,
that?
it'll
Yeah,
tell you
everything.
how much elixir.
And our metadata is pretty loaded, I guess. I mean, you will get to know everything about the planet in the metadata itself, and we've got something else in the metadata. Would you like to give a little information about it,
No, if
Stan?
you do that, if you do
Like just
that,
give
then
them some sort of like
no.
hint,
But if you tell them what's in it, they are automatically gonna know what the mechanic is. There's only
Yeah.
one reason you include that metadata.
So all
Okay,
right, we leave it. All right, so we'll leave it for now. We'll tell you
yeah, I
after.
think we just man, sorry, Nick. Like I know what
It's all
Vikram's
good.
talking about, but like
But
trust
we
me.
but we've got also age of planet mentioned in the metadata, which will also be incorporated with certain amount a certain sort of utility in future.
Yeah,
The
we've
planets will have
included
different ages. Yeah.
certain things in the metadata because we've got an idea of what they tie into and how to play with them. But there's this one particular thing Vikram is talking about. I promise you, when you see it in the metadata, you're gonna know what it's for. Like we've had enough metaverse projects to know what this stat is for. So it is included. Don't I don't have to say anything more about it because I just have to say one word and you'll know like clearly.
Our metadata will be more than coordinates. It's not simply coordinates. It will give you entire information about the planets, the resources, and what you have to buy more in future too. Like it's all there. You will get to know it as soon as you mint your planet.
Okay. And when will we be expecting to start to earn some of these elements?
When the continents drop, like
Okay.
after the continents go live, resource generation goes live.
It
Because,
Got
will
it.
like we
it
said,
will the
it is not
resources will
actually
update. Yeah.
the planets that generate resources. It is the continents. The planets get the tax. So for that reason,
Okay.
when the continents drop, then the planets start generating resources via tax. Yeah.
And
Oh
it will
man.
update in your wallet every day. It will be on daily basis, the resource updation of your continents and planets.
So it
Okay.
generates daily, and then we do a disbursement once every couple of every period.
Every like
But yeah,
epoch or something.
uh, we
It
are
will be
unsure
weekly,
about the
I guess.
period.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do every 2 epochs or something because to drop these things, we'll have to figure out the economics of it. But either way,
Right.
whether it's an epoch or 2 epochs or anything, here's the thing, right? We're project creators, and we it's very much law driven. A lot of things are law driven. If we say 2 weeks, we back it up in lore. It works. You don't need your tokens every week if they accumulate, right?
Right.
Like if they're actually
Especially if
accumulating, you don't need to, because every time you go in a faucet and claim anyway, you spend some ADA. Might as well do it every 2 weeks.
right. And then so I'm thinking, will there be like a staking mechanic where you like stake it to your website and that way it's kind of like an incentive to hold as well?
It already is. Like you don't have to go and stake it on the website. Just by holding the planet, you get resources. That's your staking mechanic. That's your
Right.
that's your earn. It's your stake to earn.
Yeah,
and
no,
each resource will have a utility associated with it too. So it's not simply you are holding a dead
It's
thing
not
or
it's
dead
not a
resource
blind
at
it's
time.
not a blank coin, it's not a blind
Yeah.
coin. It's not something aesthetic.
gotcha. I'm wondering, do you guys want to give out the 5 whitelist spots?
Oh yeah, sure. We can do the
All right,
raffle now.
all right, guys. I'm not necessarily ending it here, but I'm giving myself some time to think a little bit. So we'll do the whitelist, the 5 whitelist spots. How I'm gonna have to do this though is because there's no way that YouTube will allow me to like DM you guys. There is just no DMing in YouTube. So post your discords and your number, so your Discord name and the number associated with it in the chat, and I will put you in a random name picker, and then I'll pick you guys live. So I'll show you what that random picker looks like. So it's just here, and I'll just be like, I don't know, Discord number, and then next, and I'll just do that for as many people that you guys put a Discord name up.
All right, sounds good. That's the thing with the Voyage whitelist as well. Um, Again, not arbitrary. It's we are whitelisting 20% of supply. So that's the number that we've decided upon, 320 whitelist spots. Now, we have consistently upgraded the whitelist benefits. Initially, it was two per transaction. Now it's gone to three. We are also considering, because you see the way that we've given out the whitelist for the most part, right? Except for these kind of random draws, for the most part, it is people who these are people in my DMs. They come up to me or Vikram or Mitchell or anyone, and they actually ask questions about the project, and they ask some really good questions, and that's how I know that they're personally actually interested in the product that we have to offer. When that's done, I give them a whitelist because I know that they're here for it, and the people who actually talk to us, um, they know that we're not here looking for a quick rug or a quick buck. Like 1,600 planets, dude. Like if you were trying to, if you were trying to do something, you would have done it different. You would have lowered the price, increased the volume,
Right.
and big marketing and all that stuff. But that's not even a concern when it comes to this, because all just have a conversation with us. Like we hear on video, right? Like I personally have been in the space for a while. Like if for me to I wouldn't do something and just like look for a quick exit. I can't. People know, like I talk to people. um but yeah, so with regards to this, to the whitelist that's going on, it is a huge opportunity at the moment, and we're looking at one added benefit that Vikram spoke to me about last night. I'm thinking we'll go along with it, but it's another whitelist benefit. So it's an opportunity to get in early, quite frankly. Of course you can still get some on pubs, but I honestly at this stage I have no idea how it's going to go. I have no idea how mint day is going to go. But regardless, what we've decided to do is we'll open the mint for 24 hours, the first one. We'll open it and then let it sell for 24 hours. If it doesn't sell out, we'll open again, after we proceed with the 3D viewer or something, but I'm pretty sure it'll do pretty well. But
Okay.
regardless, the token that we are doing right now, because of it being an early access card, um, actually matters who holds them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Brian Russell wants to know if he can whitelist too.
Uh, that's no, but that's your. I'm sorry, man,
Because I
but
think a lot of people in here have already gotten their whitelist. Because I haven't seen anybody post their Discord actually.
oh yeah, okay, no, that's fair enough, because like we did drop some whitelists on your end, right?
Right.
Yeah,
You gave me 20 to give away, and I'm giving those away in my Discord to my
yeah,
holders. So yeah, there's
yep,
still
yep.
my holders that will have an opportunity to get up to 20 whitelist spots.
Yeah. So that's the thing. So each whitelist is three transactions, right? We have had some people who, well, they say that one whitelist is not enough because they they were looking to mint
Yeah.
something like I do have in all. I'm going to be completely honest about this, right? Because it's transparency and it is investor transparency. But I do talk to certain people who, after learning the entire concept, they want to pick up a lot, not three, not six. We're talking like 10 plus, right? So for these kind of situations, then because I talk to them and I know that they plan to hold large portions, I'm fine doing another whitelist for them, as in, like, ensuring that they do end up getting their plots, because these are like trusted people in the space, trusted investors and all that, and people that I trust as an investors, as investors, sorry. When stocks do private placements, the supply of private placement, as long as it's not, I'm not doing a 30% private placement here, we're looking like 1%, 2%. I do that. So if there are people who ask for like that question, the double whitelist thing, I know it sounded a bit cheeky, but the answer to your question actually is, yeah, I do. I do. It depends on what we're going on about, right? Like, after sufficient conversations, like, in all honesty, I've spoken to a couple of people who, because I'm a banker, you know that, right? And I talked to a couple of people who are venture capitalists, investment bankers, and all. And after pitching this concept, there are a lot of people who are actually interested. They understand it's high risk because it's an NFT sort of thing. But if you're talking high risk, high reward, and you are aware of the team behind the venture that you're on, it does bring a fair bit of comfort. So I talk to bankers and investment bankers on a daily basis. But with regards to this project, what I'm trying to do on your stream and on the last interview that I've done is speak to people the way I would be speaking to investors, to bankers, because that, at the end of the day, it's a fair bit of money, right? Like, if you're talking about like three whitelists, if minting three whitelists, that's almost like 500 Cardano. It's well, it's 420.
Hey.
But like, sorry, I had to. But yeah, it's not small. It's not exactly small money. So just generally, because of the value of that, the crowd that we'd be drawing would be a bit more financially savvy people as well. So for that reason, the whitelist actually caters to them. So when if people have the question like, why three whitelists, isn't that a lot? It's not because these people wanted 10. you know
Right.
and for the one of the hidden things, one of the hidden alpha things we're going to be dropping like in a week or so, you're going to need you're going to want multiple planets, right? So
Yeah,
we're going to do
after
that.
looking at the metadata, yeah, you're gonna hold multiple planets. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, so we know what we're trying to achieve, and this seems to be the whitelist that we've devised. It's a lot more than something gimmicky, you know what I mean? Like, in fact, how I did my whitelist was, I consider it pretty interesting, but it could be a biased viewpoint. For the first 100 whitelists, I did them by random draw in my Discord. So you've got we have level roles, so people chat and all that, and then it's not really grinding. Like, across my Discords, I don't like it when people grind, but they talk and all that. And so we've got a few people who've actually spent a lot of time in our Discord at the start, and that's where we spend a lot of time explaining our project, right? So these guys, as you go up the tier, I made it like this. So you have, let's say, tier A until tier E, right? You've got 1,000 people in tier E, which is the lowest level, and then let's say you've got like 5 people in tier A. I would say I'm giving two whitelists to each tier. So I run a raffle. Tier E would be two whitelists out of 1,000, whereas tier A would be 2 out of 5. So the higher you place in these tiers, the higher your chances of getting a whitelist,
Okay.
right? So even then, from the very beginning, the whitelist favored people who took time. They took the time to learn, because we are going to take time. We're not going to mint and then metaverse ready tomorrow. We're going to take time, and the point is, we need people to be aware that these things take time. And honestly, I don't know, up until the NFT marketplace thing started, right, people were aware that building a company and a project takes time. Ever since this NFT thing has come up, people suddenly seem to believe that you can execute things in like a week. So
People are
we've
just so impatient in this space.
no, we've
It's
spent time. We've
ridiculous.
spent time explaining it, and I guarantee you, I can do 10 interviews explaining every single process. On mint day, you'd have people
Oh,
saying,
yep.
"Oh, is this project drug? Is
It's
this
because
drug?"
nobody does their research. Like, well,
Yeah,
those people
exactly.
don't do their research. The other people are chilling, drinking margaritas, just like idiot,
That's
like
exactly
cool,
it. And
like
they are the people. they are the people who end up like making the sick 100x flips. Like, they, like for instance, you look at the big boys. Like I was just looking at when the Bake Nation plots went out yesterday. I was looking at CryptoDram's wallet. As in, like he put a picture up of like his screen, that huge
I saw
monster of a
that,
screen.
dude.
What was that, like 200 plots?
I couldn't
Like,
count. It was a lot. It was like 2 double monitors, huge. Just
yeah,
like
that's my
all
point.
the
So
Sonics on one monitor, all the Underworlds on another monitor. I was
that's
like,
my point. So
bro.
you've got people like Drams who buys like a metric bucket load of things like Veggiemates and stuff, right? And it's forgotten. Just leaves it. Let Veggiemates do their thing. Let the project do its thing, and suddenly your investment like 10x's, right? That's what you got to do. If you're one of those guys in the server being like, when game, when this, when that, you're just devaluing your own investment. Like people don't understand that. If you hold a bag, and you're out there asking stupid questions, first of all, you look like a fool. Secondly, you're actually shooting your own bag in the foot. Can I just
Yeah.
say this? I'm going to look straight into the camera and say this. Can I just say this to everyone who's ever complained about a floor price? You set the price. The project owner is not the one selling. Like, the answer to why floor is you floor. That's simply it. Like,
Yeah.
if you understand what project you bought into, and for God's sakes, I hope you do. Like, if you understand what project you bought into, then you would understand the timeline. You would understand the team behind it. At the end of the day, the two questions you need to ask yourself for investing in anything: what am I buying? Who controls it? That's it. That's all
100%.
you need to know.
So we had one person, R2 CNFT, put their Discord in. So I can send you their Discord after, or
Yeah, sure. We'll just sort
cool,
that out off the stream. That's not a problem. We can even
cool,
leave it open for a bit. That's fine because,
right,
um, yeah, like I said, there's no if there aren't that many people who put up the Discord here, that's okay. You can just pass the rest to the server as well. Like I said, for
right,
me, it's about the quality, right? Like it's about
right,
I've been in your server. I know that you've got holders. I watch the conversation in there a lot, and that's the kind of community we're trying to attract, especially for the planets, man. Especially for the first mint, because continents, you can buy and you can flip whatever, but frankly speaking, as the creator of these assets, right, as the people who spent hours in our heads figuring out the utility of these planets, if you flip a planet um, if you flip a planet early, you're wasting your time. Like you really are. How much ADA can you possibly make off a quick flip early? Yeah, maybe 2x, 3x, sure, but just the utility of this project itself, the utility of the planet. By the time we hit second stage, by the time we hit continent drops, I guarantee you'll kick yourself for having flipped your planet. The only reason you'd want to be flipping them is to then get a specific planet. You know what I mean?
right.
Because there will be an incentive for you to fish for certain planets. There
Gotcha.
will be that incentive. So I think that would be the only reason for you. In fact, it'd be better off if you could just trade them with whoever you know holds the planet or whatever. And we will be looking at doing that in our Discord. So we'll have our planet lords talking to each other and stuff like that, right? Um, but yeah, if anything is looking to be flipped, I would advise flipping the continents, not the planets. It's like your early access club. Like you look at the Borg cards and all that, right? When Borgs did their
Oh yeah.
cards came out and then they shot to like 1,006th floor or something like that. Why? Because it's an early access. It's a founder's token. It had utility for the next min. Our planets are an NFT, and just because they come the way normal NFTs come with traits and with different looks, don't forget that they are a VIP pass. I didn't word it that way because they're game assets, they're planets, right? I don't want to refer to my game asset as a VIP pass because that's not what it is. But essentially it is.
I actually prefer it that way because there were some projects that I saw where like, hey, these are our cards. This gives you
Mint that
access
first
like
and then carry on.
right, like to
Yeah.
whitelist and then like a 40% discount or something. And I'm like, oh wow, that's great. But then I was like, wait a minute, what happens after I mint? Like,
Yeah.
did I
What are
just
you
pay
actually
100
doing?
ADA for a 40% discount on a mint? Like that doesn't seem like it's worth it. Like
Yeah, exactly. That's where
so
we're coming from, right? So I don't want to say early access, blah blah blah, because early access to what? Why am I selling you cards? I'd rather sell you something, a game asset that has game utility, and make it our early access token. Why not? That's what would make sense, right? You were here from the beginning. You minted a planet. Why shouldn't you be entitled to our early access cards?
Yeah. And that got me thinking too. With your Discord, I tried to do like an invite from your Discord the other day, and it wouldn't let me. And it's because you're closed. Your Discord's closed,
Our
right?
Discord's closed. Our Discord has always been closed. We've never opened it.
But
In
but
fact, we drop invite links 100 at a time, because, like I said, with this project particularly, not interested in the hugest crowd just yet. We need to make sure that whoever does end up buying our assets understands what we're doing, and that was the focus. And initially, we were thinking of opening Discord. I think at about when we hit our initial plan was when I hit 100 whitelist, then I'll open the Discord, because my first plan was to give members of the server a chance to get whitelisted. But once that happened, I'd taken a look at a bunch of mints and that had been going on, and everyone who ended up doing a push for members before minting, had their mint flooded
yeah,
by randoms who were not holders, who had no intention to mint. They just came in and said random shit. Is this a drug? As usual, you know? So I have no time for that. I'm sorry. I just don't. I have no time for that. I believe the people in our server who have seen our project, who've been with the project from the very beginning, they know what's up. And that
yeah.
is, I will, if I'm gonna try and look for hype, it's not gonna be through giveaways or through like publicity or through cheap marketing. We will get our hype when the 3D viewer comes out and when people can start playing with their planets. We'll get our hype as our game progresses, as our product progresses. Because you can't, I'm sorry, this sounds arrogant, but if you're not looking at Voyage now, you have a very short while to look the other way. We're coming fast. Like, we're
Yeah,
coming
I love it.
fast.
I love it. But at the beginning though, you said that there was about 80 spots left in the Discord before you closed
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah, because we wanted to close at 2,100 members. We're now at 2028.
Okay. So, but I couldn't make my own link and send it to
No,
people
you
though,
can't.
right?
You can't make your own invite link. The links that we have are on the Twitter. So on Twitter
Okay.
we always have a valid 100 invite link running. So as and when that expires, we update it. Yeah,
Gotcha.
because otherwise, if I don't do it 100 at a time, I can't control it stopping at 2,100, right? It could just get botted or whatever. And also by doing it through Twitter, of course, it's not foolproof, but it does keep a lot of bots out.
So
It
do you
does.
have
It's
to manually like watch the server like, oh, it's at 2100, let me take the invite link down?
me, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's part of the job, yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's an easier way to do it, but I'm not a techie or whatever, and I just want the job done, right? I just want what I said to happen. So I'll just watch as we near about, even if we close it at like 2105, 2110, whatever, like at the
Right.
end of the day, I said around 2100, and that's what we intend to do.
Yeah,
Um,
close enough.
it's just what it just means is as we head towards 2100, then I just stop putting out links. That's all I have to do.
So in theory, everybody in the Discord will be minting these planets in theory.
You can't say that. Like I won't say that.
Right.
In fact, I don't think so at all. But if half of them do, then we're done.
Right. Because you expecting that everybody that has a whitelist though will be minting.
Or on average. So if we
Most,
have
right?
about 320 whitelists, you might have people who don't mint anything, but you will have people who mint three.
Right.
you know so just on the assumption every whitelist gets every whitelist spot gets taken or something, let's, like I said, we ran the numbers earlier, right? um, I think we're fine. I think we're in a good place, because our supply is low. We've got the numbers, and also the quality of people who are paying attention at the moment. Um, these are not people who want to dip their toes in and mint one, maybe. These are people who are actively trying to get multiple whitelists. So I think numbers wise, I think we're fine.
And do you have to be in the Discord to mint, or will the mint be on the
No.
website?
Well, the whitelist mint. Actually, we are doing the public. We'll be putting the public address on the website. The
Okay.
whitelist will be in the Discord. Yes.
Okay. So the people, if they do win the whitelist spots, I'll be able to send them over.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
yeah, of course, of course.
Okay.
I sent you a bundle, I believe. I think I've got an invite bundle in our DMs, but I'll just send you another one just in case. You can just
Okay.
use that. Whoever wants to join in, just give that to them.
Cool. Appreciate that. Yeah, I think when you told me it was a bundle, I was like confused. I was like, a bundle of what?
Yeah, no, it's invites. Yeah, I just did it. So
Gotcha.
it just that. Yeah, that's what I do with like for instance, I told you we've been like placing whitelists in certain communities, right? So same thing with rats. I gave Mango the link, and I was just like, yeah, when you need them, just send them the link. Same thing with Emerald and all that. We understand that. You see, this thing about controlling the Discord, right? Um, of course the method has got a lot of fud. Sometimes they're like, oh, you arrogant bastard, you're like controlling Discord and all that. I'm like, it achieved what I planned for it to achieve, you
I
know.
mean, I see it as if people are mad that they can't get in the Discord, you're doing your
It's working.
job,
Yeah,
right?
but we're not
Like,
doing it for
sadly,
hype. Like, I'm doing it for one reason only. We are building something. My job, I'm the community manager for Voyage, but I do a lot more than that. I actually have a job with Vikram. We talk every day. We have like done every step of it together along the way. I don't have time to come in the Discord and explain to you that we're not a rug. I don't. I'm working. I have shit to do, you know. And I don't have time to come in and explain what the project is about. I don't. Oh man, I don't even remember the name of this, but like we had this guy come in yesterday, and he was just like, "Oh, a space project on Cardano. Do you know that it's been done before?" And I was like, "What?" And then he showed us this thing that had like what 200 people in the Discord, and he's like, "Oh, it's been done. It's been done for months." And I was just like, "Get the fuck out of here, man!" Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was just like, I saw it, and they were completely different projects. And this is the kind of shit that, as a creator, you deal with sometimes. And like, look, man, I'm an amicable guy. Like, I'll talk to you. I don't mind answering questions. But if you come in with that kind of shit, and if you haven't done your research, you know, and this
yeah.
guy was a mod on the other project. He came in like guns blazing, like white knighting
Well,
or
of
something.
course, you're
Bro,
right.
I just looked at it. I just looked at it, and I was just like, I for a moment I was like, how did I miss this? I've been in the space since September. How do I not know this project exists? Right? And I was panicking. I was like, I dropped the fucking ball here. And
Yeah.
then I opened the website and I was like, what is this shit? And I was like, okay, fine. It's different to what we're trying to do. And I explained it to him. I was like, yeah, it's different to what we're trying to do. And then I went and saw the Discord as well. Like, the project's been around for a while, but you can't come in and say it's been done when you ain't done shit, son. Like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
so
I was
that's what
I
I
was thinking
mean.
about that because you're doing the planets and there's Planet Pals, but like, Planet Pals is not what you're doing,
It's
right?
not
Like,
Planet Pals.
not
I
even
love
close.
Planet Pals, by the way. That's
Right.
what's it, Stale, right?
Still,
Isn't
yeah.
that Stale's project? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I actually own quite a few of those. I still think, in all honesty, they're underpriced, but you know,
Of course, but that's the thing. That's when you pick them up because
right.
you know it's stale, right?
Right. That's
He's
why
not gonna
I
rug
bought
you.
all of mine when they were below like 20 ADA. I just bought like 10 of them. And I was like, there's no
Bro,
reason for me to
that's
not.
smart. I
Yeah.
just bought some arena phoenixes yesterday.
Oh yeah. You
Yeah,
bought
so
the maxes?
yeah, for the same reason, right? It's like this. It's all this passive earning shit, and you look at the team. Do you believe that they can execute what they say they're gonna execute, right? So with
Yeah.
Planet Pals, if you look at it, it's the NFT itself is simplistic. It's a picture, right? But you know that's not what you're buying. You know for a fact, like, that's not what it's gonna be. And why do you know that? Because you trust Tail,
They're
right?
also showing us. They do
Yeah,
weekly updates every single week. They talk about what they're making, what we've done this week, and they
yeah.
show the artwork that they're updating. Like, they're
That
doing
ties
great.
into the trust, and we
Yeah.
actually, like, this is something that I will be doing personally, for Voyage. We are opening up a weekly update channel, and I will do whatever I need to, whether by announcement, typing, or I can even come online and do a video update every week. I have no issue doing that.
Yeah.
3 minute, 5 minute thing every week. Show you I'm still here. I'm not. still wearing the same shitty clothes, not driving a Lambo, didn't take all the money and ran away. You know, like, bro, that's the thing. We are trying to achieve something. This is a process. This
Right.
is after all, and I love using this phrase when I drop announcements. This is after all a journey, right? It's a voyage. So we know that we're here for a while, and we know that as long as we keep to our shit and we've got the people with us along the way, we're fine. So how do I keep them with us? Transparency.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, this got me on a whole nother train of thought too, because I did want to ask you guys this as kind of like a warm up question, but I want to ask you anyways now. So, like, what projects, like Vikram, are you a CNFT investor, or do you just kind of, just your thing is like programming and that's like your passion, and you're cool with that?
I'm actually a cross-chain NFT investor. I've been in Terra NFT space too. I recently bought Feline Fiends from Ethereum, and yeah, I've been in CNFT since early August. Crypto Dino was my first NFT as far as I remember. Yeah, it and I want to share something funny. So that the day when I joined the Cardano NFT community space, Clay Nation floor was at 38, and I skipped it. I thought because I didn't know about NFT space in general that time, so I didn't decide to pick it up, and now I'm regretting. Like, Clay Nation was such a big deal now. It's such a big deal now. So yeah, I've been part of multiple NFT projects. I've been part of multiple NFT communities in Discord, and I've been observing the space from sidelines, apart from doing all my college work. So that's when I decided to like come up with my own project after getting experience on how the community works in general. So it's not like that I straight up jumped into making a project. I've been observing all the things here since early August.
So you don't own any of the clays though?
No, I don't.
Oh man, what about you, Stash? You got any clays, man?
I don't own clays, and like anyone who talks to me, anyone who I've spoken to in the NFT space, right? They know this. I don't do clay art. I just can't. I
But
can't do clay art, and I can't. And that's, bro. Like, I know. Let's not. Can we just next question,
like
please?
like like how I view it is like, sure, even if you hate clays, like it's freaking Clay Nation,
No,
man.
I know. So I almost bought one at like 1,002 2 weeks ago or something. And then I was like, oh, but I really like this Kong. Like, you see the Kong behind me? I
Yeah,
was like, oh, I'll pick that up and I'll pick up a goat instead. And like, I don't regret it, but would have been
but,
nice.
but it's not
Would
clay.
have been nice.
Clay, yeah.
Yeah, no,
But
But
yeah,
Clay
I
like,
Nation is Clays are doing a lot for Cardano NFT space. If you can see, like they are bringing in huge partnerships, which will move the space forward. Yeah, it will help us a lot in coming years.
for
yeah,
sure.
100%.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm a collector, and I've got some projects. Like, I mean, like, before anything, I was on Twitter just being a CNFT person, right? Memeing, talking shit, just like that's it. So like my favorite communities are the memers. It's the goats, the degens, like, that's where I started. My first NFT was an OG degen. I didn't even mint it. I bought it off secondary, but I made a lot of friends in the degens when I started. And then there were goats, and then it's U25. My journey basically was that. Those are the servers I'm most active in.
Yeah. So, are there any projects that you're looking at? Any project you think are undervalued that you're debating buying right now?
Me personally, well, I like staking stuff. I like the P2E mechanic. I like certain coin mechanics depending on what they are. I personally am a huge fan of Nifties, and I've said this
Okay.
before. I'm not affiliated to them or anything. I was in their server from the very beginning, and I talked to everyone. We just goof around and stuff. But I like what they're doing with the rebates. I like what they're doing with wait, shit. Okay. I like what they're doing with the rebates. I like what they're doing with the coin and all that they're releasing. I think they've got an amazing team. I like buying into projects that give you passive income, so long as I know the team.
What
So long
about,
as I know behind
because
them.
as soon as you said that, it just reminded me of yummies. Like, do you like yummies at all?
I don't have them. I don't have yummies, and I don't have what's the other one? Naru. Wait, is that
Yeah,
the
the
same
yummy
one?
Narus.
No, Makasi.
Oh
Yummy
yeah,
and Makasi. I don't have either of them. I mean, I am a Pokemon fan. Like, I would have loved to, but not at like 200 floors. I missed the boat. I'll just tell you, I missed the boat on that.
yeah.
There's this one other project called Adamon. I don't know if you've heard about
I
them.
have. I don't know
Adamon's
too much
dope.
about it, but it looks
Adamon's
cool.
dope. They were like one of the first communities I joined, and the community is very quiet. They're very small, but
Yeah,
the guy SPXC, he's a hard worker, and I've always in the space supported hard workers. Um, Adamon's great. They've been building for a long time. They are undervalued to dog shit, like super undervalued. I'll tell you that much because right now the floor is like half of mint, and mint is going on. So they're stuck. They're stuck at the moment. But it doesn't matter because the guy keeps building. And the same thing with tech teams that build, right? So with Adamon, the server is quiet, but who cares? They're building. I mean, like that's what
yeah.
they're doing. You don't expect them to have like events all the time because that's not where the focus is. And these are small teams as well, right? Do you want them focusing on the assets or do you want them focusing on Gartic Knight?
I mean, there's like
That's what.
nothing for them to really focus on, anyways. Like the mint's already going; they already made these assets. Like
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
you,
exactly,
you can
exactly. So
focus
now they
all your
just got to
time on
go
the
on.
floor, but like you can't do anything about it. You know, like the only thing you could do to really help out the floor is to like
Keep working.
try to find some like news that's gonna blow it up, or to shill it to like a really big like influencer. That's like all you can do
No,
to really help
the,
out the
the way
floor.
you raise, the way they can raise the floors, and actually this is the best way to do it. But of course, this is a high conviction play. Finish your game.
Well, yeah, no, that's what I was saying though. Like the only ways to do it like inorganically are to like shill it through like an influencer or to like pump out some like information that you were gonna
Giveaways and all that.
say.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And it's just not the way to go. It's just not.
It doesn't bring the right kind of attention. There's some projects that could benefit from that kind of attention, but you must understand your target market. Are you looking for flippers? Do you want that trade volume? Do you want that 1 million on first day? Because I'll tell you, I don't. I don't want 1 million on Voyage on first day. I don't.
Yeah.
You're missing the point. That's not what we're trying to do. You know. So the community that you should be looking for should mirror the community goals that the project has set. So yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. Tall Crypto. I don't know if you know Tall. He's in Twitter Spaces a lot. Um,
Okay.
TAL dot crypto is his user on Twitter, and he hosts some Twitter Spaces. A lot of times he's in my Twitter Space or Ozar's Twitter Space. Just in general, there's like a whole community in Twitter Spaces, and his thing is he talks about it all the time. He's like, projects that take a while to sell out are like butter for him. He's like, I love it. Like if it
I
takes like a
agree.
week or 2 weeks to sell out of a project, he's like, I'm gonna start minting. I'm gonna buy them, and
I
a lot of the
agree. I
times
agree.
it does well.
It's Goat Tribe did that.
Yeah,
Goat Tribe.
Kongs did
The-
that.
Bro, they took the three pictures behind me took like a while to sell out.
Yeah,
Where are they now? Like, man, people come into servers and they're like, "What's your plan for mint? Cut supply right now, sweep the floors." Like, bro, I'm the business dev, not you. There's a reason I'm here. Like, that's not how you do things. Hey, it's all crypto. What's up,
yeah,
man?
there he is. What's up, Tall? And then what's crazy is Ozar's in here too. Eric, what's up, guys? These are the
Hey,
guys I
Hello.
yo.
spend like a lot of time on Twitter Spaces with. They know a lot of stuff, a lot of alpha you'll get. They're
Yeah,
just
that's
super
great, man.
homies.
Twitter Spaces are honestly where it's at. In fact, there's been this push on Cardano saying, "Why is everything done on Discord? Is that necessary?" And the answer is no,
Yeah,
it's not. I would prefer, especially for larger scale projects like what we're trying to do. It doesn't really matter what you say on Discord. I'd rather see them come up and answer questions, come up and say things, talk to the communities, and that is something that is very important. And it's something that we never planned to do, but it's just become that way with Voyage. Like I said, with the voice chats, right? If you had a question about Voyage, whatever it is, you know that you can find me in the server between 3 p.m. UTC to 5 p.m. UTC or 6 p.m. UTC on voice chat with the rest of our gang, just hanging out and talking stuff. Um, so there's never been a situation where, in fact, even without tickets on server or any question asked, there's never been a situation where we don't get back to them, or like someone asks a question like, hey, even if they ask a question in like a rude way or anything, you won't see us banning them or anything like that. It's just not it. Your questions are valid. don't get the question mixed up with being a rude person. Those are two different things. I will still
100%.
I will beat your ass for being a rude person in my server, but I will answer your question.
Yeah.
I will answer your question.
Yeah, there's no need to be rude. Like that's my whole thing is like I may disagree with a bunch of people, but like at the end of the day, I find that like you have to control your inner peace. And if people are like being rude to you and you're finding yourself like getting heated and getting up and you're like
Disengage.
raising your voice, it's like you
Yep.
really need to like think about it and come back down because then at that point you're just letting other people dictate your emotions. And like
Exactly.
so like
It
there's just
works like that
really
for
no need.
everything. For
Yeah.
everything. My professional job title is a relationship manager. That's the name of my job title, right? And like that's the thing. Communication is so important. It is like, and that's the thing that I tell a lot of these people who come in hot and they say shit like, what are the mods plans for floor price when mods sweep floor or something like that. I'm just like,
Are they
I
trolling
actually,
though?
no, they're not.
No?
They're not. They're actually asking when are the mods going to sweep the floor? What is the mods plan for this project, right? Like the
Where do
mod,
these people come from? Who thinks
bro.
this way?
That's my point. So I'm like, my answer is always just like, you asking me that question should be embarrassing for you. Like those
Well,
words
that's the
should
thing
not come
though
out
is
of your
like
mouth.
those type of people that get really angry and like aggressive like that are a lot of the times not super self-aware. So they may not even realize that they're looking like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Because they do it all the
That's the
time. They
thing.
jump from your
You
server
can
to another server.
you can smell an over leveraged person from a mile away. From a mile away, you can smell them over. You know why? Because they're sweating. They're always sweating.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's how you can smell an over leveraged person. They're always sweating. So like, man, the projects that I like, I buy and I forget, right? I buy them and I forget them. And I understand because I was in a position where there was a time where when I first started off with CNFTs, of course, my ADA port, I had like 200 ADA in it. And I was just like, 200 ADA NFT port. So I really, if something goes down by like 10 ADA, I'm like, fuck, 10 ADA, you know what I mean? But
Right.
after spending time in the space, you understand that that's not how it works. You will
Right.
get your 10x if you buy the right project, but you won't get it tomorrow. You know
Right.
what I mean? So then as you learn to stack and hold, and even as you learn to, honestly, I personally feel if you're going to spend time in the CNFT space, you need to mint a couple of projects that go to 5 ADA. You
Yeah.
do. You
It's a
do.
rite of passage, just like getting rug pulled.
Yeah,
That
no, I mean exactly that. You need to be rugged for
yeah.
you to
So
like,
I
for you
think
to grow up.
I didn't ask Vikram actually. Are there any projects that you're looking at that are undervalued that you're thinking about getting into? Like, do you watch the floor
Yeah,
prices or anything like that?
yeah, I like lazy llamas too. I mean, I
Yeah,
think they
Lazy
are doing a
Llama's
pretty
dope.
good.
I'm like, I'm gonna
Yeah,
buy one right after this meeting. Like,
I I
we're in
didn't
a
have
talk.
one right now, but I'll surely buy them. Yeah, I'll stack them up. I like their art and I like the team and I like the concept they are bringing. So yeah, lazy
Gotcha.
llamas are on my watch list.
Do you own any lazy llamas at the moment?
No, presently not, but I plan to buy some lazy llamas in future.
Gotcha.
Right now, I've got like degens, few degens, and few dubbuds. Dubbuds, like I minted few dubbuds back then, and I didn't sold them. I didn't sell any of my dubbuds. It's all present in my wallet since then, and few crypto dinos, degens,
Sorry about that.
and I've had a goat. So the first my first interaction
Tell
with
the
Stash
story.
was selling my goat to him. Like we didn't know about each other, and it was back in October when the Go track came up. Exactly, I don't remember the exact time. So CNFT IO didn't have smart contracts back then, and you have to like wait for 24 hours to sell your NFTs. So I just posted a link on the Discord server of sell your NFT in Go Tribe, and I said that I will be sending instantly to the buyer, but I didn't send. I sent him after 8 hours, so he was pissed.
I was like, what the hell? Like, I was like, hey, I'll take it. And then we settled on a price. And then I'm like, hey, I'm ready. Are you? And then nothing. I was like, and then I actually sent him a message. I was like, yo, this is not what instantly means. Like, yeah, and it's crazy because the thing is, when Vikram reached out to me for Voyage eventually, he was like, "Hey man, blah blah blah. Got this project. By the way, do you still have my goat?" And I was like, "Whoa, that goat was the only goat that I actually sold, and I know who owns it now. In fact, I actually know the full trail of where it went from me to this other guy, then to the guy who holds it now. And that guy who holds it is one of the degens as well. So like we joke about this goat a lot. It was a cool one with like a bulletproof vest and a green mohawk as well.
That's what's up. That's freaking crazy. Oh man. So, all right, guys, we've been here for about 2 hours and 10 minutes. I don't know
Yeah,
if it's felt like that long for you guys. Definitely, it feels like it flew by.
I
But
just realized it as well. Damn.
yeah. Is there anything you want to wrap up with? Anything maybe I didn't touch or something you felt like you wanted to cover?
Big start with you.
I think we covered everything. I mean, there's nothing left now
Maybe there's
regarding the
some things you don't want to tell me that you can tell me now.
Okay, a little bit. Obviously, as a metaverse game that starts off with resource generation, I can share that our resource generating assets do interact with each other to provide multiplier bonuses on resources generated.
Okay. Can I
In more
speculate
ways
and you
than
can
one.
nod your head yes or no?
In more ways than one. In more ways than one. We're not just looking for a one arbitrary thing. Like I
So,
said, we're gamers, right?
so this is
And
maybe why you should own more than one planet?
yeah,
Question mark, maybe. Who knows? Yeah.
no,
yeah.
definitely. It's
Okay.
definitely why you should own more than one. It's just which ones, right? So we're telling you you should own more than one, but we just haven't explained exactly which ones.
Okay.
And it varies on strategy because personally speaking, like I know what the that alpha is, right? I know what the interaction is, and I've said this from the very start. Beyond one of the team, one of the co-founder guys, I'm Voyage's biggest fan. I'm Voyage's biggest fan. I've been the reason I was so interested, the reason I came on board is because I've been asking about this thing since I heard about it. So I already in my head, being a gamer, I know I want to have X amount of planets, right? I'm looking at you can take my word for it or not, but I'm looking at least 10 because I know the first mechanic and I know I'm going to need a fair bunch of those. But then I also know that I want planets enough to give me all resources, right? So the first mechanic very much focuses on one type of resource. And then I also want like ancillary planets so that I can get all the other resources. So I know like based on that, there's a lot to be looked into, and planet trading, which planets are valuable and which are not. At the end of the day, it's completely up to you. In fact, we might end up in a position where a majority of our planets, of our assets that get traded, occur off market. It could very much occur where it could very much happen where it occurs off market, and we are making our own marketplace. And of course, until that is done, our marketplace will be a Voyage ecosystem marketplace. We're not trying to compete with JPEG Store or CNFT IO or anything. It's a closed marketplace for the reason that we have explained. We have a Voyager token, right? And the token's utility will be within the marketplace itself. So all in-game assets tied to the Voyager token makes it a
Okay.
lot easier. So with that, until the marketplace goes live, I will be looking at running an escrow service in our server for our planets. Shit, I almost said planet
I think
pals.
I
we
heard.
missed we we missed about the game mode. Like we missed about the capture the flag, capture the star theme base we are trying to build. So that's going to be the galaxies fighting with each other. The four galaxies. We gonna hold that tournament every week. It's going to be weekly, and in which you will the species will be based on galaxies, right? So the four species will battle against each other to capture each other's star cluster, and if you manage to capture other galaxy star cluster, you will be rewarded in our native currency. You can team
Gotcha.
up with your species. You can team up with the species players. Yeah.
Ryan, I don't know. I've seen you here since the beginning. I feel like you're trolling me, but yes, there is a whitelist. I don't know if you're being serious, but I don't want to be a jerk. So yes, there is a whitelist, and I only have one Discord name written down. So you can
I
put your
love that,
Discord
man.
name in the chat. I don't know if you're trolling me.
That's classic. Man, someone should ask, is this metaverse? Is this real?
My last question, I was debating. I was just going to ask you. So when are the mods going to buy the floor?
When are the mods gonna buy the floor? See, so once our DAO comes out, then I'm kidding. There is no DAO. There is no mod buying floor. Yeah, I think as a parting message, I very much wanted to say this, right? So where we've come from as project creators, primarily, we both come from a place of being collectors ourselves. Vikram was in other chains. I was primarily, well, not primarily, I'm exclusively Cardano because, well, I mean, I also traded stocks and crypto. I mean, it's part of my skill set. But and then when I got into NFTs, I actually got into Ethereum first. And when I went into Ethereum, I put a little bit of Ethereum in my wallet, and I was like, I'm gonna go and mint a Wall Street bull. I don't know if you saw that came out because that was during the time when the GameStop frenzy happened, right? So they came
Okay.
up with this Wall Street Bulls NFT on Ethereum, and I was like, oh, mint is 0.02. I've got 0.04 in here. I'm gonna mint one, and then gas fees came up to 0.06, and
Ooh.
I was like, okay. Then I went to Cardano. like
Yeah.
I just I picked up
Come
Cardano.
aboard, man. We got plenty of
I was
room.
like,
The boat's
no,
still
wait,
small.
they're gonna charge me to mint basically four of them and give me one. I'm like,
That,
no.
that's the
Yeah.
reason why we chose Cardano to build.
Yeah.
Like Ethereum might be far ahead from Cardano because it got infrastructure already
For
since they
now,
got smart contracts since 2017. But but things started to develop on Cardano because smart contracts just rolled, and we are seeing very advancements in DeFi space, and dApps are started to build on Cardano. So the Cardano infrastructure is slowly starting to heat up. Yeah, and it will be challenge for Ethereum for sure.
Yeah, I
yeah,
think that's probably why everybody is on Cardano. Like when I first got into NFTs, I didn't my first NFT was Cardano, but like I did a bunch of research just because I was like, I don't want to jump into a
the wrong
blockchain
marketplace. Yeah,
without like knowing everything because I'm kind of like super analytical like to a fault. And so I was just like, how do I mint this? So like, all right, I need a wallet. Okay, so how much is this going to cost me? And I was like, wait, what the heck is a gas fee? And then I was like, wait, this gas fee is like $50. And then I was like, all right,
yeah,
let me like look somewhere else real quick. And I was like, oh, okay, so Cardano's entire mint is $50. I was like, yeah, I'll see you later.
yeah, exactly. And then there's also the element of coming into a space early, right? And I think the time when when did you get into it, Nick?
I got into, well, I've owned Cardano for a long time, but I got into Cardano NFTs maybe like June, July-ish, but like
Okay.
I didn't know what was going on. I was still being like really patient. My
Yeah.
first mint was actually Cardano Kids, their season 7.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I
So,
remember that. Cardano trees were popping at that time too. There was
The
Cardano
kids,
trees, like on-chain generative trees on Cardano, and I don't know what happened to that project right now.
they're
I am
oh,
blown up
unable to.
Cardano
under, I
Kids?
think, like huge floods or
Cardano
something.
Oh,
Yeah.
trees.
oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
they were huge that time when I joined, and
same.
it was like sort of on-chain generative NFTs with it. I am unable to catch up with them right now, so I don't know much about what's happening there. But yeah,
I actually
Yeah.
spoke with them a little bit. Not like with them, but I just jumped into their Discord and I was like, "Hey, you guys are OG." This was around January, and like all the OG projects were starting to go crazy because of Boss Cat's bringing over a bunch of Ethereum people,
Mhm.
yeah,
and
yeah.
or at least that was like the narrative that's everybody has been painting. at that time. Like, who knows why it's really going up? But you know, so I was like, okay, I am gonna buy some of these Cardano trees, and I was buying everything in January. I was just buying, and I bought
There,
2 Cardano trees, and
there was a time in Cardano NFT space when people were literally buying everything. Every mint that popped up, people were throwing their ADA right away. Now people started to do their due diligence now, which is actually good for the space. People are getting aware which product to mint or not. That's sort of nice. But we moved to that immature part when people just saw that a new NFT is coming up and they just threw their ADA into their wallet.
yeah. But so like what Cardano trees are doing now is they have these like add-ons. So there's like fireworks, there's like a sun and a moon, and just like some things in the background that you can add onto
Yeah,
your NFT.
yeah, you can do that. There's a server called IPFS server. If you host the metadata on IPFS, you can change it dynamically. Like you can change the background, you can change the time, duration, and all. It's all doable on the chain.
That's what's up. But all right, guys, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. It's getting
Yeah.
pretty late for me. But thank you guys so much for coming on, dude. I cannot wait
Thanks
to
for
mint a bunch of these. If the
Thanks
floor
for having.
falls, man, I might have my whole Discord server. You know, we might
Yeah,
scoop up a
thanks for
few. Who
having us,
knows?
Nick. Like
thanks a lot,
like I
Nick. Thanks a
explained,
lot
we
for your
just
support and thanks a lot for having us. Yeah.
Oh, no
we just
problem,
Absolutely.
needed
dude.
a place to
Yeah,
be able to
I
talk.
was in Nick's. I was in Nick's server when I started my project. It was very hard to gain followers because I had zero connection in this space. I had zero friends, and I was dejected because I had like 20 followers in 3 days, and that was all bot accounts too. So I was like, dude, how do I get the communities to see my stuff because I'm trying to build something constructive here. But yeah, so then I started to DM bunch of people, not that spammy invite DMs. I started to convince them about my project. It was simply, hi, my name is Vikram, I'm starting a new project and all. And people asked a lot of questions about the project, and I tried to convince everyone by myself. So it was tough for me because I had to cope up with the college in the day, and the time zone difference is like the West usually wakes up when it's night time for me. So I had to wake up all the night to like convince people about what I'm trying to do. I am completely doxed. I won't be ragging you. This is like sort of that. So that's how I just gained my organic following in the initial days, and now it picked up.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man, for following the channel and for being a fan, dude. Like it's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
crazy to hear the
Yeah,
word
Yeah,
like
like
man.
like
fan.
I was. Yeah, I got many people. I met the son of a Bitcoin in your Discord too. He's a great dude. I
He is.
really appreciate him.
he's
He's
got his
got his
own project, by the way. Shout out
yeah,
to
apocalyptic cats. Yeah,
Apocalyptic Cats.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a tough
yeah,
one to say, but it's a great name.
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
thanks,
that's it.
man. I'm glad
Thanks
I
for
could.
having us.
I'm glad I could give back to you, man, because yeah, man, your project is amazing and it deserves the recognition.
Thank a lot.
Appreciate you,
Thanks a
man.
lot, Nick. Thanks a lot
If
for
anyone's
having
got questions, like if you ever hear any questions either in your Discord or whatever, like you can ask us at any time. Anyone can ask us anything. Like my my Discord DMs are open, and as like a project creator, as like someone who has like a following of like over 1,000 plus on Twitter, like that's not advisable because you get bumped with a lot of shit, right? But it's open because in case someone needs to ask me something about Voyage, I will, and from the start to finish of this project, I don't want anyone to say we didn't answer questions.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. No, I love that, man. I think that's a great approach. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna end it here in typical fashion. If any of this content helped you, please give me a like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel.
Yes,
Follow
sir.
all of these sexy people on camera right here. Everybody, I know Powder and Mitchell have been calling you guys so hot the whole time. I just
That's
been
because
reading all these sexy comments
Mitchell
about you
is
guys.
Mitchell is just sus. He thinks everyone's sus.
I don't know, man. I think you guys are beautiful. So remember to get outside, see your family, see your friends. We're here to make more money so we can spend more time with them. Till next time, guys. Peace.
Thanks, Nick.
Bye.
Yes, sir.
Thanks. Thanks a lot.